problems all over the outfield last night led to a high-scoring affair between two teams in need of a win. The long ball threat, the Phillies offense returned at the right time from a duo searching for their power, while the youth delivered out of the pen to deliver a Game 1 win for the Phillies. Well, here we go. Game number 2 between the Phillies and the Chicago Cubs. And the Phillies are hoping that it's not as tight as last night and that their defense is a little bit better. But they did get the victory last night. They're now 10 games under the 500 mark, and they've got Cole Hamels going against the Cubs. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Cole Hamels coming off arguably his best start of the season, his last time out. It's unfortunate that he got a no decision in a 2-1 loss by the Phillies, but he looked really good.
He sure did, Tom. Pitched 8 really solid innings. Didn't give up any runs in that game. Phillies had a 1-0 lead going into the 9th inning, and then they blew that game when Jonathan Papelbon had kind of a meltdown. But here's the game against the Giants. He had tremendous stuff. He had real good fastball the way he has all year. Of course, his changeup is always his out pitch. You see him throwing it down and away very effectively. Gets strikeouts, double plays, ground balls, swings and misses. He'll use his cutter effectively too, and an occasional curveball. So, yeah, he really should have won that game. Now, he hasn't pitched against the Cubs for a long time. How about all the way back to July 17th of 2010? That was another game that he pitched great, and the Phillies were losing going into the 9th inning in this game, and then Carlos Marmol had a meltdown. But Cole Hamels was tremendous on that afternoon at Wrigley Field. Now, he also, everybody that pitches in the major leagues, well, they have a chance to have one of these games. If you pitch at Wrigley and the wind happens to be blowing out, it was blowing out a ton that day in his rookie season, and he got Wrigley fielded, to say the least. Phillies made mistakes on defense. He gave up a couple of wind-blown home runs, and he got smoked that afternoon. But his last 5 starts against the Cubs, outstanding stats. He's pitched very, very well against them if you take away that windy afternoon at Wrigley Field. And there's a lot of guys in Major League Baseball that can say that.
It's interesting, too, looking at some of those Cubs players that he was facing the last time in 2010, how their faces have changed over the last couple of years, much like the Phillies' faces. So it is Game 2 of this 3-game series against 2 pitchers who don't get a whole lot of run support. Travis Wood for the Cubs, 2 starts here at Citizens Bank Park, both excellent starts. He was an all-star this past year against Cole Hamels. Well, last night the youngsters for the Phils, Jake Diekman and Justin DeFreitas, really stepped to the forefront when they needed them to, and they helped the Phillies to the victory over the Cubs. They may be needed once again tonight in Game 2. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota's nationwide clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. The Phillies are about ready to take the field behind Cole Hamels, who's getting a chance to make the start. Tonight is always a special night here in Philadelphia, whether it be at the Vet or here at Citizens Bank Park. It's the Police Athletic League Celebrity Softball game between the newspaper and radio reporters in the city of Philadelphia and the television folks in Philadelphia. There's Marshall Harris. All was right in the world for Marshall at that point. He made a nice catch, and this little ground ball trying to beat it out. And right about there, you don't see him. He pulled up with an injury.
Mile post 80, he blew a tire. Here it comes. Watch. That's an unmistakable thing when you see a guy grab the back of the leg eventually. That's a hammy.
Well, we hope Marshall is okay. He did get a chance to have some dessert after the ball game. It's the 35th anniversary of Pal Night. And the folks from Tasty Cake put together that beautiful cake. There's Commissioner Charles Ramsey and some of the donations that were given out from Tasty Cake to Sugar House Casino. And then the first pitch that was thrown out a few moments ago here at Citizens Bank Park with the Fanatic. There is the Commissioner. And we'll be joined by the Commissioner a little later on in tonight's telecast. We'll talk to Murph.
Good
Let's
news.
take a look at the I'm sorry, good.
Yeah, the good news, Tom, for Marshall is that'll feel good about October.
Poor Marshall. Let's take a look at the lineup tonight for the Cubs. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at center field, Junior League, Darwin Barney, the second baseman, bats second. Then Starlin Castro and Deanna Navarro, the catcher. Thomas Neal, the left fielder, bats fifth. Cody Ransom, that is, over at first base, batting sixth. Then the bottom third of Gillespie, Murphy, and Travis Wood, and they'll face Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels. Hamels is about ready to begin his 24th game of the year. Coming off a very good start his last time out, Chris.
Yeah, everybody familiar with the saga of Cole Hamels this year. It has really been a tough year for him. Personally, when you look at his numbers, 4-13, but everything else is so good. And he pitched a great game his last time out. Our scouting report on him, his fastball's been very good all year. His fastball location, his cutter, changeup, and curveball, especially his changeup. And he has real good lifetime numbers against the Cubs, especially when you consider he had a blowout in the game at Wrigley Field on a windy afternoon. Well, the Nissan keys to tonight's game, an all right-handed hitting lineup against Wood, except, of course, for the pitcher and Dominic Brown. And Wood, he's like a ninth hitter in the lineup as there's a base hit to lead off the game by Lake. This guy has 6 lifetime home runs, including 3 this year.
Well, there's a leadoff single, so with the Cubs out of the chute getting a base runner, Hamels will now have to work against Darwin Barney. Barney 0 for 4 in last night's ball game. Or I should say 0 for 3. He was lifted as part of a double switch.
Teams hardly ever do it anymore, but you wonder with this real good pitching matchup tonight if they would bunt for an early run here. And at third base, Michael Young has to play up and be aware of it.
First pitch to Barney, and it takes it for a strike. It's 0-1.
Used to be a big part of baseball. You'd bunt for a run in the first inning. But back in those days, there were so many real good pitching matchups. And nowadays, you hardly ever see it. But I thought they may try it, and the Phillies weren't going to just say, no, they won't.
Well, he shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-2. Statistically, these two pitchers, Cole Hamels and Travis Wood, get some of the least amount of run support in the majors this year. In fact, Hamels is tied for 88th out of 95 qualified pitchers with 3.26 runs on average per game.
Right. That's why you might bunt for a run in the first inning to try and get one.
And he's late on that fastball, and he gets a strikeout. One away here in the first.
Mentioned his fastball, how good it's been from the get-go this year. And velocity-wise, location-wise in most starts, and he's come out with a really good fastball there and just overpowered Barney. Maybe he's up there looking changeup. Cole Hamels has way too much fastball for you to look changeup with 2 strikes.
Well, that'll bring Starlin Castro to the plate. Castro having a down year compared to his first couple seasons in the big leagues. 245, 7 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Phillies will set up to try to turn 2 with a little different double play combination tonight. It's Kevin Franzen at second base and Jimmy Rollins at shortstop.
The left-handed hitter's hitting 180 off Travis Wood. Good night to rest Chase Utley with a day game coming up.
Castro laid on that first pitch, and he fouls it back. It's 0-1. Castro 1 for 5 in last night's ball game. There's Carlos Ruiz, who gets tonight off. He'll catch tomorrow afternoon's game. He took that foul ball off the mask late in yesterday's game. Normally when Cole Hamels is out there, it is Carlos Ruiz that does the catching. But Eric Kratz has caught him a fair share this year. A cutter upstairs, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Last time out, Hamels went 8 innings, scattered 7 hits, and struck out 5. He left the game in the hands of Jonathan Papelbon with a 1-0 lead. The Phillies wound up losing that game 2-1. That ball's hit towards short on 1 hop. Rollins has got it, and that'll be an easy double play. It is. Lake froze because he wasn't sure if that was going to be caught. Rollins played coy and waited for the 1 hop. 6-4-3 on the DP. We go to the bottom of the first. A 7-pitch top of the first for Hamels. Up for the Cubs, let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at third base, Michael Young. Kevin Francis, the second baseman, bats second. Jimmy Rollins hits third, followed by Dominic Brown and Darren Rupp. Delman Young back in the lineup in right field with the lefty on the mound. John Mayberry in center field. He'll bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching is Eric Kratz. And on the mound, of course, is Hamels. And they'll face left-hander Travis Wood, who's made all of 2 starts against the Phillies, both here at Citizens Bank Park, and both, well, they were rather impressive.
Especially that first one. He took a perfect game into the 9th inning of a game against Roy Halladay back in 2010. What an unbelievable game that was that night. Carlos Ruiz broke it up with a leadoff double in the 9th inning. Phillies finally won it in the 11th. There's the scouting report on him. He has a tremendous cut fastball, really tough on left-handed hitters, only 1 home run, and he will pitch inside to right-handed hitters with that cutter.
Now, Dal Swaim knows that this deal to bring Wood over to Chicago a couple of years ago, which sent Sean Marshall over to the Reds, and that was a good deal for the Reds. He knows when his one big all-star goes to the mound, they got a good chance to win the ball game. Michael Young leads it off for the Phillies. He'll take strike 1. It's 0-1.
Say one of the things he's doing a little bit better than he didn't do before is throw his cutter as a backdoor now to right-handed hitters, because he used to just try to bury them inside.
1 ball and 1 strike to Young, who was 2 for 3 last night. Good numbers against the Cubs for his career. 13 for 37. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Chuck Cummings of Philadelphia. Phillies hit home run in tonight's ball game, and he'll win $100. Look out, Kevin Franzen. That ball went off the screen. Kevin thought it was going to shoot back onto his back. He ducked, and it landed just behind him. What is a 26-year-old from Bryant, Arkansas? He's become very good friends with Cliff Lee over the years. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lee, of course, from Benton, Arkansas, and the University of, as Young fouls it away. Another foul ball, so Michael Young stays alive.
He's just bumping fastballs. It's not a high velocity fastball that he has. He averages around 90, somewhere in that area. But he has a lot of inside movement to right-handed hitters, away to left-handed hitters with it.
It's a good at bat though by Young. He's spoiling a lot of pitches.
Tremendous at bat by a leadoff guy, because what do you want your leadoff batter to do? Lenny Dykstra, when he was here, was one of the best. Guys were talking about it over the weekend. He would stand down there and watch a game, and he'd make the pitcher show everything he has. First hitter, you'd have an idea what the guy was going to feature, and then he'd make him show his move over to first.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Michael Young, and a foul tip, 1 away. He gets a strikeout to begin the first, and that'll bring Kevin Franzen to the plate, playing second base tonight for Chase Utley.
This one's away. Looked like just a fastball out over the plate a little bit, and probably was not a strike, but he gave him a good at bat until that point.
Franzen hitless in his last 13 at bats. His average at .252. 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in. Fouls the first pitch back, 0-1. We talked about that matchup between Travis Wood and Roy Halladay. What a great night it was here at Citizens Bank Park. And as Murph gets himself ready and in position. You ready, Murph?
I'm ready.
He's going to give us an update on Roy Halladay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tom, it seems like we're getting an update almost every day now on Roy Halladay. And today, Roy Halladay spoke himself about where he is at, where his progress is concerning his injury. And it is really good news. Tomorrow, Roy Halladay is headed to Clearwater, Florida, where on Saturday he will pitch in a simulated game, which basically means he will face live batters. He'll throw about 75 pitches. Now, that comes off the heels of what we told you last night. He pitched 75 pitches in a 5 up and down similar kind of situation game on Monday. So he is progressing. He said that he has had no setbacks so far, and really the next step after that simulated game could be pitching in a minor league game. They'll make that decision afterwards. But certainly good news from Roy Halladay today, and he seemed very upbeat and excited about the prospect of still pitching in 2013.
Well, it's great news for the Phillies if he does get a chance to be out there again in 2013 as Donnie Murphy throws Kevin Franzen out. It rained here in Philadelphia earlier today, and you saw some of the work that Halladay did in the bullpen while there were showers coming down. But it was really raining hard at one point, and he was running through that rain. Not that it's a big deal to be out in the rain all the time, but some guys use it as an excuse to not get their work in. He's out there, and it's pouring, going from pole to center field, walking a little bit, going to the other pole, just getting his work in. So he is determined, as he said to us today, not to prove any point to anyone, but just to get out there to try to pitch again this year to help his team.
Well, if anybody can do it, he can. Because he'll work at it so hard to try and get back the way you're describing, Tom, what you saw from him this afternoon. Tug McGraw used to always say so well, the hitters are going to let you know how you're throwing, and it'll come to that point.
1 ball, 1 strike to Rollins, 1 for 4 in last night's ball game. Inside 2-1. I also thought, Murph, that it was kind of interesting when he was asked about this team, about this group, because he's obviously a free agent at the end of this year, if he likes what he sees, and his eyes got wide, and he was pretty adamant that he likes what potentially this team could be in 2014. We'll talk more about that as the night moves on, as Rollins flies out to right field to end the bottom of the first. Nothing across for the Phillies, 1 in the books here at South Philadelphia. We go to the second. The Cubs and the Phil scoreless. On their full adjustments, plus a full breakdown of the Phils and the Cubs. All that and more on the next Phillies Sports Talk, presented by Classic Nissan, tomorrow at 5, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Deanna Navarro will lead it off for the Cubs, playing today with a lefty on the mound. That's part of the reason he's hitting .450 against left-handed pitching. Combination of Castillo and Navarro offensively have been pretty good for the Cubs this year. There are a lot of folks that thought with the trade deadline coming that he might be dealt to a team that A, needs depth or needs a starting catcher. In particular, the Cardinals with Yadier Molina banged up. 2-1 as he fouls that one back to the right.
A lot of people had different catchers going to the Cardinals with Molina banged up, but they did not make a move. Finally got the changeup. Well, he worked the young umpire a little earlier, a couple pitches earlier, about a pitch that he thought was a strike and it was called high, and that one was almost the same spot, and he got that one.
2-2 pitch. Line towards left. Dominic Brown reaches and can't get it. It's off the tip of his glove. Mayberry's there to back it up. Navarro doesn't run all that well. And that is certainly a ball that Dominic should have caught. Just as the one last night was a ball that he should have caught.
Yeah, Hamels had a lot of that stuff this year where he gets involved in innings on misplays. I have no idea what happened on that other than the fact that he just doesn't catch it. It wasn't like he got a late jump. He's starting to extend a little bit. They're trying to get him, I think, away from diving as much. That's a good way to get hurt and also to miss balls. But in that case, he missed one running straight for it.
Thomas Neal, who did pinch hit last night and made the final out.
Here's the one last night. He got his glove up over his head there a little bit, blocked his vision, kind of nonchalanted it and just dropped it, and he just dropped that one. And it's pretty embarrassing, as he said last night, to do it, let alone do it again tonight.
So 4 errors this year for Brown, 2 in the last 2 games, as that one's at the knees. 0-2 to Neal. Yankees designated Neal for assignment, and the Cubs picked him up. He hit over 300, as you just saw, at AAA, and was 2 for 11 in a Yankee uniform this year. 0-2 pitch to him. Ground ball foul. Change up, roll towards short. Rollins has got it. There's one. Franzen's exchange to first, offline. And Neal is safe at first. So they get the lead runner on a 6-4 put out at second.
Just little things in a ball game that where you give up extra outs, and there's one there. It should be a double play ball. Now it's hit a little bit slowly at Jimmy. See if Kevin gets some action here. No, he just makes a poor relay throw. He went to use the back of the bag for protection, get out of there. See what he does, and that's a double play. So in this inning, they've now given away 2 outs already.
It was kind of a screwball the way he threw it over to first base. Well, they'll set up for 2 again with 1 out here in the second. Cody Ransom, who spent part of 2010 with the Phillies, but a couple of home runs. He has 9 home runs this year. He's hitting under 200, but 9 home runs.
Good fastball hitter, not a good off-speed hitter.
They appeal to Marty Foster, who says no swing.
And at first pitch, they throw him a changeup. After having had him here, you do not want to throw him fastballs in the strike zone, especially with a guy like Hamels, whose best pitch is a changeup. Well, his best out pitch. There you go. When you've had a hitter and you know what he struggles with, there's no way you should ever get hurt with his strength.
out toward left field. Dominic Brown is there, just a couple steps from the track, and he makes the catch. And Neal's trying for second, and he is safe at second base. He took a chance, and it was the right chance. But there are 2 outs, and Cole Gillespie's coming up.
3 straight changeups to Cody Ransom. Good job by both Kratz and Hamels not to throw fastball to him. There is Brown backing up a little bit on it, and that's what the runner Neal saw at first base and decided to tag up, and that's way too close. Say about making the first or third out at third base. Well, how about at second?
That last replay, it almost looked as if he slid right into the tag of Franzen. I wonder if he's obviously been tested and everything like that, but you see Dominic Brown kind of opening his eyes really wide each time we show him. If he's still feeling okay. Gillespie from the right side takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Check it out again. All right, so he's on the bag, so it was kind of an optical illusion.
Yeah. The left hand is not on the bag, but the right hand was.
Yeah, I thought from the other angle his right hand slid into the glove. And no harm, just a few extra pitches. Sidage retired, no runs, no hits. 1 man left. There was 1 Phillies error, middle of the second. Dominic Brown will lead it off when we return. Diamondbacks, Total 1990s retro night on Friday. All fans 14 under get the John Kruk action figurine. And how about Sunday the 25th? ShopRite back to school backpack, free to fans 14 and under. And there is that backpack. Those are some pretty sharp dudes getting ready for school. They look like they're excited already for the first day. That's a great giveaway for the young fans coming to the ballpark. Get your tickets, as always, by going to Phillies.com. Dominic Brown will lead it off. Brown, 24 home runs, 71 runs batted in. 7th in the league in RBIs, and that one's hit well. Deep to right center field. Going back on it is Lake. It is gone! Into the Phillies bullpen. 25 home runs for Dominic Brown. And the Phillies take a 1-0 lead.
Boy, that was about an easy 430 right there on that swing. That's amazing how far that baseball just went with that swing as easy as it was. Looked like a cutter. Talked about Wood. He's only thrown 1 home run ball to a left-handed hitter this year. Well, how about 2? Tries to start him with a cutter. Oh, and it's right down the middle, even a little bit in. He missed his spot, and look how far that thing goes.
Wow.
Off the wall in the bullpen out there, way over 400 feet. And that is just a tremendous swing that he had at it, where he leads with that bottom hand.
And Charles Cummings, you've just won $100 thanks to Dominic Brown and the McDonald's home run jackpot. Darren Ruff is the hitter. Ruff has reached base safely in 33 straight games.
Doesn't always happen, but every once in a while you'll see a pitcher miss a spot by that much, and they get hurt like that. That pitch missed a spot by 1.5 feet where it was supposed to be.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Ruff. Ground ball toward third. It's a fair ball. Murphy's got it deep behind the third base bag. Nice play. And one away.
Now watch where he's setting up inside here. Or outside. I mean, it's outside for a cutter. Right here. And right down the middle, or even down and in a little bit. And he crushes it. Right there.
25 home runs, 72 runs batted in for Brown.
Unbelievable how quick that thing went out of here, though, as high as it was.
Elvin Young serves it to right. One out single.
Wood took a look up at the at Fanavision afterwards. He wanted to see just what happened there, because he is not used to getting hurt by left-handed hitters, obviously. Not like that.
There's Sean Ficazzi, the Phillies athletic trainer. Dominic, after he hit the home run, went down the stairs and went up toward the clubhouse. John Mayberry's the hitter. Mayberry 0 for his last 9. And it's no balls and 1 strike as he takes a fastball for strike 1. Mentioned that Travis Wood was an all-star. Since the all-star game, he's 1-2 with an earned run average of 5.06. He was roughed up in his last outing. He went 3 1/3, allowed 7 hits and 5 runs. Prior to the All-Star game, though, he was 6-6 with a 2.79 earned run average. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it really is. You know, a quality start stat, people don't like that, and it's understandable because it's one of those 3 earned runs or less in 6 innings pitched. But this guy's had 18 of them in 22 starts this year, and that is pretty good pitching.
That foul ball got a piece of Mayberry, and Navarro is giving him a chance to walk off the pain.
And in this day and age of starters and the way bullpens are used, 6 innings, 3 earned runs or less, if your bullpen's pretty good, it gives you a chance to win a game. Obviously, you'd like guys to go longer and all that, but that's the way the game is now.
Off the hands, out towards second. There's one, and not in time. Mayberry does run well, even though he just fouled a ball off his foot. His hands are going to be buzzing every which way.
Yeah, give him a lot of credit the way he busted out of there, because we talked early in the game about the way this guy's going to bury that cutter into these right-handed hitters. He has a good one. And if that were April and it were cold, you're right, his hands would hurt for a week. Oh, did he get in on him? But look at him bust out of there after he had beaten that ball off his foot. It's good hustle. Keeps the inning alive.
And it gives Eric Kratz a chance to bat with a runner on. Kratz 1 for 5 on the homestand so far. And he lines one down the left field line, foul.
What they try to do after a while on Wood is sell out and open up and look for that thing in there and try and keep it fair. And they say now he's throwing it away a little bit better and throwing backdoor cutters because they watch to see the hitters that are opening up. But it makes sense if you're a right-handed hitter that you're going to open up and look for it because he wants to get in there and get you out that way. Danny Jackson was here over the weekend. We were talking about that, how he used to bury hitters with that cutter in. He says, you still mention my name once in a while? I said, every time I see a left-hander that cuts it in.
Or if somebody rips their shirt.
Yeah, we don't see much of that. He'd like to be known for something more than tearing his shirt open.
That was a pretty good act.
That was a great act that night. Who was he doing? The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. Outside, 2-1 to Kratz.
Throwing a few changeups too to these right-handed hitters, something to get their eyes away from his money pitch, which is in.
towering fly ball down the left field line. It is playable, and Neal makes the call in fair territory, and the side is retired. A home run, though, for Dominic Brown has given the Phillies the early lead. This, folks, is home run number 25 on the season for Dominic Brown. A breakout season for him. It's also a 72nd run batted in. So the Phillies have a 1-0 lead as we go to the third here in Philadelphia. Go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, take your eyes away from the screen and take a look at the question. Who was the player to be named later in the Mariners trade to the Cubs for Gary Matthews in 1987? Huh. So you want a layup, huh? We'll give you a layup.
That's a layup?
No, I'm saying they're not all layups.
Boy, that's an understatement. I wonder if Sarge knows.
He probably does not.
I'm going to ask him.
You know what? We'll allow you to ask him tonight.
Right. I'm going to ask him when he walks in when we do the changeover.
See, he's here. He's listening to us now,
sure.
So he's going to research it. So you have to be able to tell through his body language whether he looked it up or not.
I think he's on his iDroid right now. He'll kill me for that. Sorry, Sarge. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Here's the 2-0 pitch to Murphy. Hit in the air down the right field line. Delman Young on the run. Slicing. It is gone. Wow. Nice catch by that young fan, but I can't believe that ball stayed fair. Really. And it's a 1-1 game. Second home run of the series for Donnie Murphy.
Like it hit a jet stream out there, too, and there's hardly any wind here tonight. You see he was looking up. He got it on the barrel. And he hits it way up in the air here. Look at this shot right here. Oh, that's great.
Oh, right off the top of the fence.
Yeah, right on the railing.
And then there's
startled that little girl right there.
Yeah, she's a little concerned about what she was eating and that it was going to fall right in her lap. Well, no balls and 1 strike to Travis Wood. Now, Wood has 3 home runs this year. He's probably, I don't want to say he's the best hitting pitcher in the National League, but if he's not, he's pretty close.
Well, we talked about it before the game, or in the keys of the game, he has 6 major league home runs. And he stands up there and he hacks. Got a little bit of an open stance, and he likes to hit.
Here's the 0-2 pitch coming to him. As Murphy wandered around the dugout, soaking in that home run. Ground ball to shortstop.
Get him run.
And Rollins will throw him out. Well, 1 away. We go back to the top of the order for Junior Lake, and well, our Murphy I don't think has ever hit a home run that far, but He's done some great job with his interviews, and he's got another one coming up right here. Murph, take it away.
You were certainly right about the first part of that, and thank you very much. What a great night it is here at Citizens Bank Park. It is the Police Athletic League night, a yearly event. We're joined by Commissioner Charles Ramsey of the Philadelphia Police Department. And Commissioner, first of all, the Police Athletic League and the relationship with the Philadelphia Phillies, 35 years going strong. It really is a terrific relationship and a great way to raise some money.
35 years, still going strong. I'm told we raised approximately $35,000 tonight from this event, and over the years, more than $1 million. So that's one heck of a relationship.
Absolutely. And the importance of the Police Athletic League in a city like Philadelphia, it gives really so much to so many different people. It helps so many.
Well, it really does. You know, we have 25 centers all inside the city of Philadelphia. We serve about 26,000 young boys and girls, variety of activities, educational, athletic, special activities. It really gives kids a safe haven, a place to go after school during the summer, and we enjoy doing it.
You know, the men and women of the Philadelphia Police Force do so much for the city of Philadelphia, and they go above and beyond with the Police Athletic League. Now I will tell folks that you are a Chicago native, but the good news is you're not a Cubs fan, so that's good news.
No, I grew up on the South Side, so I grew up with the White Sox, and if you're a Chicagoan, it's either or. You're either a Sox fan or a Cubs fan. Although I'm a little partial to the National League now that I'm here in Philly, because I do like the Phillies so much.
Well, that's the way it should be. Commissioner Ramsey, thanks for being here tonight. Congratulations on the 35 years going strong with the Police Athletic League. Tom, we'll send it back upstairs to you.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. After the home run, Hamels is able to get 2 groundouts and a flyout. We go to the bottom of the third, all evened up at 1 here at Citizens Bank Park. Nissan and Nissan's bottom line sales event. Choose a better way to drive and save. Choose Nissan.com. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Bottom of the third. Folks are enjoying maybe an off night from their jobs, getting a chance to soak in the atmosphere at Ashburn Alley.
Great place to come in. Watch a ball game. This ballpark is still one of the best. You're dealing with the Chicago Cubs, who have the venerable Wrigley Field as their home field,
which will be changing.
Which will be changing.
Years.
Yeah, they're going to do a few things to it. I think Cole Hamels is up there laughing right now about that home run ball. You got to be kidding me that went out. At least you can smile about it.
Now a 1-1 game as we go to the bottom of the third.
He was standing out there like, you got to be kidding me.
A ball like that, the way it left the bat, it's remarkable that it went that far, that it didn't slice foul.
Yeah. And there wasn't like there's a lot of wind taking it.
At a play, 0-2 to Hamels.
Pretty good hitting pitchers in this game, although Cole has to deal left with this guy.
Hamels hitting 167, 6 hits in 36 at bats. Outside, 1-2. And strike 3, according to the home plate umpire. Hamels down looking. Second strikeout for Wood. And 1 away for Michael Young. Our Mazda leaders. Cubs have the least amount of shutdown innings in the National League. The Phillies are among the leaders in a category that you don't really want to be a leader in.
Yeah, and that inning just qualified as one. Surprising with the Cardinals.
Very surprising.
Yeah, with all the good things that have gone on with them this year. They went into a funk right after the Phillies series, but they have since come out of it.
Yeah, they're 2 games back of the Pirates. Pirates are playing the Marlins tonight. The Cardinals are playing the Dodgers.
We finally lost a game on the road.
And the guy that lost it is the guy you wouldn't expect would lose it, but he pitched pretty well, and that's Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
2 balls, no strikes to Michael Young. And that's over for a strike. It's 2-1.
Michael Young's up there. It looks like, why doesn't he pitch me inside like he's doing all the other right-handed here? He keeps staying away from him. Finally got him to chase one out over the plate last time. There's another one out there.
Mentioned that Travis Wood came over from the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds at one point had a plethora of starting pitching. And the Reds were looking for some help in the bullpen, and they got Sean Marshall in that trade. And again, Young is down on strikes. Another foul tip. And that's 3 strikeouts for Wood. The talk now is whether the Cubs will sign Travis Wood to a contract extension.
He goes away again. Almost everything to Michael Young has been away, whereas his normal routine, the way it pitches right-handed hitters, is to come in on them.
Now with 2 outs, here's Franzen. He grounded out to the left side of the infield his first time up. Curveball outside and low.
Playing him to pull a big gap in right center field.
Chopper left side. Donnie Murphy will let it go by to Castro. And it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 3rd for Travis Wood. So he gets a shutdown inning. And the Phillies go down quietly in their half of the 3rd. Castro will lead things off when we return with the 4th. Delivery. WB Mason's same-day service can't be thrown out. Call by 11:30 and your order is delivered that same afternoon. Who but WB Mason? On to the top of the 4th we go. A 1-1 game. Home run by Dominic Brown. A home run by Donnie Murphy. And that's the scoring so far Starlin Castro, Deanna Navarro, and Thomas Neal will start things off against Cole Hamels. Hamels just 31 pitches through the first 3 innings of this game. Nice way to start a ball game.
Yeah. How about Murphy? 2 home runs in the series already. Well, he likes hitting this ballpark.
I guess so. I still can't believe that ball didn't go foul.
It barely got out. It's the kind of luck, though, that Cole has been having this year.
Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Take a look at what's going on down in D.C. and the Braves, who have won 12 straight, are leading the Nationals 1-0. Freddie Freeman 1 for 2 with a couple RBIs. Justin Upton has extended his hitting streak to 12 games. Now the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball to, oh, Franzen went the wrong way. He cut toward the middle and it was to his left. And it's a base hit for Starlin Castro. It's the second time we've seen that this year. Utley did the same thing.
You're absolutely right. Utley did do that. I'm going to have to ask him about that play. The only thing I can think of, that ball hit, you're seeing like white shirts and realizing, take a look, because he gets a jump on it, but the ball is hit the other way. By the time he realizes it, it's just too late. Obviously, he just didn't see the ball coming off of that bat the way that you should.
That was strange. I think we said the same thing when Utley did it earlier this season. Leadoff single, and Navarro, who reached on the error by Brown his first time up. There's Chase, who's off tonight with the left-hander on the mound for the Cubs.
Castro getting almost a gift hit. Ball not hit hard, just in the right place.
During the 2013 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. There's a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike to Navarro. A double play candidate that the Phillies are set up to try to turn to.
This guy's got a little bit of power. 9 home runs, not a lot of RBIs, but it's 9 home runs. Show you that he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Not a lot of at bats, only 153. So yeah, he's got pretty good power.
Fastball on the outside corner, 1-2.
And one thing, though, Cole has done is taken that ball every single time. He skipped him the one time, but other than that, he's taken the ball every time he's supposed to have taken it. So certainly not giving up at all. Just things have not been his way.
The dirt blocked by Kratz, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, we mentioned the run support statistic, which does stand out from some of his starts. He's had other starts where he's gotten hit around a little bit, which is part of the frustration he has had this year. He's also had other starts where he's had the lead and hasn't been able to hold that lead, but that's part of what 2013 has been for him.
Yeah, it's been really difficult.
Over to third, Young backs up on it. This still could be 2. Franzen's return throw is on the money. It's a 5-4-3 double play. 2 outs here in the 4th.
Well, there's that double play you were talking about. This one around the horn. Take a look at Franson as he sticks right in there to make sure that double play is actually made. No, he's not happy. He takes a lot of pride in his game, and he doesn't like any base hits going his way. So kind of a little bit of a redemption being able to turn that double play.
Thomas Neal takes outside, 1-0. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time.
The Chicago Cubs definitely rebuilding, getting rid of just about all of their stars. Got a couple of young stars that they're going to build the club around. Starling Castro, their shortstop. Even though they're saying, hey, he can't hit the fastball, is still a guy that has had good years so far in the major league. So with him playing in that position, you can build around a guy that's not necessarily tearing up the ball as long as he's catching the ball, just about catching everything.
Out of play, remains 1-2. Well, there's no doubt offensively they're building around Castro and Anthony Rizzo, who's not in the lineup tonight. Rizzo is a power hitter who can be right smack dab in the middle of that lineup at all times. Travis Wood and Jeff Samardzija are two of the starters that they're kind of building around. In fact, Wood is hoping for an extension as that ball is grounded to second. No issues for Franson with this one. And he throws out Thomas Neal. Side is retired here in the fourth. No runs, one hit, nobody left. 3.5 in the books. It's the Cubs 1 and the Phillies 1. The Quality Plus Ford stores go further. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Well, Citizens Bank Park in a 1-1 game in the bottom of the fourth inning. Jimmy Rollins will lead things off for the Phillies. It'll be Rollins, Dominic Brown, and Darren Ruff. Phillies got a home run from Dominic Brown back in the second. Meanwhile, the Cubs got a home run from Donnie Murphy. So we begin the fourth. Travis Wood against Cole Hamels, the pitcher's duel we anticipated. And the first pitch is up high, 1-0.
That's the pitch he should lay off of. J-Roll, for me, more of a low ball type of a hitter. Could get on that pitch.
Rounds that one off his foot. It's 1-1.
Hard cutter inside. That's why it's so important to be able to recognize exactly where the pitch is, especially inside, and knowing that a guy like Wood does have a cutter, so you would know to lay off of that pitch. You want that pitch to start a little bit further over the middle of the plate. Here it comes again.
Line drive, base hit it to left field. Neal gets to it quickly. Rollins will hold up at first. And he's aboard to start the fourth. Well, this is a pretty sweet swing right here by Dominic Brown his last time up.
Yeah, you're looking at a guy that certainly have come into his own home run swing. There's no doubt about where he hit the ball. I tell you, he's feeling pretty good as a hitter.
Well, for that home run and each one hit by the Phils this season, one tree will be planted by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phillies, PHS, and Aramark. For more information, visit phillies.com/redgoesgreen. This time, he threw a fastball to him that was up and in, and it's no balls and one strike.
Yeah, up and in, trying to make sure it's not out over the plate. You can look at those numbers, and hopefully he will get to that magic number in the RBIs, which would be 100.
Well, depending on how the Phillies' offense is the last 7 weeks of the season, he's got enough games.
Yeah, well, just got to continue to hit. That's what it depends on, whether or not he's still in that groove. And he's come a long way, you know, as a hitter. But just looking at him swing and the way that he approaches the ball would tell you that he just has a lot of confidence. And he said it in spring training. Give me 600 at bats. We won't be talking about outfield play.
Except for the last 2 nights.
Well, yeah, that's a little hard to explain on that one right there, other than just kind of nonchalant at the ball.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Brown. Travis Wood is very difficult to swipe a bag against. Part of it is the moves that he has over to first. The other part of it is that he doesn't have a lot of motion to the plate. He's got a catcher in Navarro that's decent throwing guys out. He's 10 for 38 this year, which is 26%. Outside, just missed, 2-2.
He kind of short arms the ball to the plate. That in itself, I would think, would make it difficult. The good base stealers have always said that a left-handed pitcher will give away something that would give away that he is going to home plate. Good eye.
You got some thoughts on whether Rollins should run here? 3-2, nobody out.
With his speed, if he gets a jump, I say, hey, you take off, scores 1 run. But if I'm going to go, I want to go as if I'm still in the base. I don't want to go to try and stay out of a double play. Therefore, I want to try and get a good jump.
Rollins doesn't go. There's ball 4. That'll put 2 runners on with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. On Thursday, August 29th, Comcast Sportsnet at Atlantic City invite you to join the Philly Fanatic to watch the Phillies take on the Mets on a giant screen on the beaches of Atlantic City. Find out more information at phillies.com/beach.
It's a good at bat there to get that walk. And Dominic has been disciplined at the plate in terms of just swinging at bad pitches, especially once you get to 3-2. You want to zone them and get the ball down, and it's exactly what he did.
Darren Ruff grounded out his first time up. Outside, 1-0.
Starting to come into his own a little bit, feeling comfortable at the plate. Darren Ruff does take some time too to get used to major league pitching. There's a good example there too. What I'm talking about with Wood. I mean, he gets that ball in a certain spot. You're way away from the plate. Very difficult to handle, especially you got to worry about that cutter in, also that change up down in a way.
Well, that was the changeup right there, and it was left up in the zone.
And that's what he's been able to do, capitalize on a lot of their mistakes. I think he should work more toward his strength, you know, take away some of the pitcher's ability to be able to hit that outside part of the plate, and especially if they can't throw that ball by him.
One ball, 2 strikes to Darren Ruff.
Cutter inside 87. And Darren just got all over that.
Rollins at second, Brown at first.
It's a good eye. Good pitch, too, by the way. Hasn't thrown a lot of curveballs up to this point. That pitch there, more surprise for a hitter.
Delmon Young waits on deck.
Gave him change up in the very beginning. Then he gave him that curveball. So they're going to start all over with the sign. See what he comes up with.
Foul tip, and that's the first out. 4 strikeouts for Travis Wood. And Delmon Young is coming to the plate.
Boy, that's a pretty good pitch there. Fastball reaching back. Look at the location, however. A lot of movement on that pitch.
Yeah, he's fortunate he missed his spot. Navarro wanted it on the outside part of the plate. It came back over the middle of the plate. So Delmon Young, who singled his last time up, he's 1 for 1. Runners lead off, not being held on. And it's 0-1 to Delmon as he swings through that first pitch. A cutter at 87.
Well, you look at that location, you just wonder how he got away with that pitch. Again, very deceiving though Wood is, because he short arms that ball, and that ball gets on you in a hurry. Plus his location has been pretty good up to this point.
No balls, 2 strikes to Delmon. Outside and high, 1-2. First time we saw Travis Wood was back on the 10th of July 2010 here at Citizens Bank Park with the Reds. He did not allow a hit until the 9th inning of that game. And he now is an established big league pitcher who allowed the first 2 batters to get aboard here in the 4th, but has gotten the next 2 hitters on strikeouts.
Yeah, well, his record won't indicate it, but this guy here does battle you. Getting out of the zone, tried to get that earlier, a high fastball. Talked about it. Once you get 2 strikes on a hitter, don't necessarily have to throw him a strike. That was the case there.
John Mayberry hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Chopper toward third. That is a foul ball. And it's 0-1 to Mayberry.
Like that, being a little bit more aggressive on that first pitch. It's long as it's a strike. I think John would have a little bit more success if he was really to get a little bit more aggressive. Has a tendency to take that first pitch and put himself in the hole.
Out toward left field. It's not deep. Playable for Thomas Neal. And the side is retired. So the Phillies get the first 2 batters aboard, but they're left aboard. We've completed 4. We go to the 5th. Cody Ransom will lead it off. And Ben Revere is going to join us up here in the booth. Piece of their offensive puzzle. This foul ball off the foot of Ben Revere was obviously painful, and it turns out it was a broken bone that led to surgery. He continued to take that at bat. Here we go. He grounds this one and runs as hard as he could up the first base line. It turned out to be a double play. We didn't know it at the time. I wonder if Ben Revere knew it at the time, that foot was broken as he limped back into the dugout. Cody Ransom rips the first pitch from Hamels down the left field line. That's heading to the wall. And Ransom's on his way to second. Well, anyway, Ben has been kind enough to join us up here in the booth. And Ben, did you think something was wrong at that point when you found that ball off your foot?
After a while, I was kind of walking around.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't getting better. So I kind of took a minute to kind of back myself off. Then I knew I got in the box. I started swinging. I'm like, it doesn't feel right, especially when I ran down the first base. I was so mad I couldn't be out the double play, even though it was broken.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was still close. That's what everybody was saying. But, it's just one of those freak accidents. Even the doctor said, no, they'd never seen that before.
Oof.
I was just like, I was so brokenhearted. I got home, almost cried.
Well, here's
was that, like a cutter? Was that a cutter?
It was a slider. Usually I could hit that ball down the first base line, and just got me around my ankle. And I was just like, man, but no, it's part of the game, I guess. But
it's hard, though. I mean, when you're going as good as you were going,
yeah,
to have potentially your season end at that point.
Yeah, it's just one of those deals. Nice place, man. But it's just one of those deals. No, it was sad because my grandfather and my dad was there watching, and they knew something was wrong. But my grandfather was like, no, I hate to see that because I know you just want to be out there playing because I hate being injured.
Yeah.
And that's the way I was raised. But, no, he was like, it was good that you were, just ripping and tearing cover off the ball and then instead, kind of struggling and everything. But, no, I kind of want to get my average higher. I want to get that thing higher. It's just I kind of sat down in my apartment. And I'm like, after a while, no, I didn't have the – I probably had the worst April ever. And, no, I just sat myself down. I'm like, all right, you know what? it's time to change it up. I'm ready to go. You know, it's that time to just prove myself. So luckily, God blessing, I was finding those hits right away.
Well, you were finding some hits, all right.
I was finding some hits, and luckily, everything was good.
You're talking 2 hits a day from where you came with your average, and I came in and told you should be really proud of yourself to be able to come back that way, and especially too, it's a tough city to play for. Okay, say
those
what you
fans,
want.
they were not happy with me.
Okay.
They were not happy with me. I'll tell you that. They were not. I was there every day. I was just like, man, I got to put a smile on their faces or something. I got to do something. And then luckily, after that, it's just, I was finding those hits. Everybody was like, okay, now we're seeing the bench.
Okay.
This is what we're talking about. Yeah. And we were winning with that. And I was happy. And we were scoring runs. And moving the clubhouse is a lot better and everything. We're being the Nationals. And during that time, they were coming down. And we were being the Braves. And the Braves were kind of... So we were kind of building up. We're just building up. And everybody knew it. And even the league knew it. So it's just... one of those deals. It's kind of tough.
Well, one of the great things, too, is that, I know in Charlie's mind in spring training, he was hoping you could be the leadoff hitter and that he could establish the rest of the lineup around you being the leadoff hitter as Murphy's hit with that pitch, and that'll put runners on first and second. But you were finally able to be that guy and allowed him to do other things with the lineup. And I know you probably enjoyed being the leadoff hitter, too.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. When I was playing for the Twins, that would be leadoff, and I would be at ninth, and it kind of just moving me, because I was struggling a little bit. And then finally, it got in my groove. I was up there, but my game, I want to be a leadoff guy.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that get on steal bases. Because we got so much power in this lineup. I score 100 runs every year. If I'm on that groove, and the runs were producing, I was scoring 2-3 runs a game, it seemed like. But it's just one of those deals that, yeah.
Yeah, it's right.
Yes.
212 through May 6th, and then from May 6th on, folks were talking about you and Mike Trout being the most productive center fielders in the league, in Major League Baseball. I mean, I know he's only 23 years old, 22 years old, whatever it is, but that's a pretty good, category to be in.
Yeah, I play against Mike Trout, of course, watching him. He could hit the tail off the ball, but just being up there with those guys and everything is definitely an honor. But yeah, that 212, I wasn't happy with that. I'm like, something got to change. Something got to go right. But I know usually I just kept battling, and luckily, I just got back at it and stopped finding those hits.
That ball's hit out towards second. Franzen has got it. Throws to second for one. Over to first. Well, you mentioned that Wood runs pretty well for a pitcher.
That's pretty quick.
Nothing against pitchers or anything like that, but he was moving up the first base line.
Now, Cliff could run a little bit, though. I see.
Cliff can run.
He can run all right. He's a pretty good athlete, too, though.
He's a pretty good athlete.
Ben, talk a little bit about how difficult it is in the beginning to come here at this field in center field and play really good center field, because you can get lost. Evident of last night's ball game, sometimes you misjudge balls here. How much difficult is it here at this ballpark, or is it?
It's a little difficulty. Sometimes I think balls don't hit that hard, and they just fly over my head. And I think balls are crushed, and they just drop in. No, this is a big park. You got a lot of space to run, and that's what I like about that and everything. But it's just, this park, you don't know what's going to happen. Get him. But with this park, you never know where the ball is going to go, whether it's going to carry or not. But after it's just kind of learning the new stadium, my first time here, I kind of got used to it, and everything was good.
Well, that ball just bloops into right center field for a base hit, and Junior Lake has given the Cubs a 2-1 lead. And Travis Wood is fortunate, A, that he wasn't tagged out at second, and B, that he didn't get injured as he went around that second base bag. And that'll bring Darwin Barney to the plate. Now, when you say it's big, it's obviously center field that's big, but it's also got, a couple bends in the wall that are a little different than other ballparks.
Yeah, they just come off that fence, just ricochet right by you. It's good. We have Samuel out there, kind of just hit me balls off the fence some more, just kind of get learned of it. And after a while, I'd be in the right position for the ball come off the fence. So I won't give up any triples or any more doubles or anything. But I love this place. I love this park. It just gives me goosebumps to go out there in center field at the fans here. So it's just it'd be one of those. I can't wait. We start. Definitely be back at the top of the league. Talk about playoffs, guys. I haven't been in the playoffs yet. I want to be there, and this is the team to do it. Definitely.
Well, and I know people have told you this, but this place during the postseason, You're not going to find a louder stadium. Honestly, it's amazing. It kind of shakes.
It's still loud with the fans you have right here.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we're winning, I mean, it gets loud. It gets pumped. I love it. I love playing here.
Gets that adrenaline flowing for sure.
Adrenaline.
Well, there's a called strike 3, so Hamels leaves a couple of base runners. He does allow a run. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Ben Revere will continue to join us up here in the booth with Eric Kratz set to lead things off. Hartman goes one-on-one with Dick Vermeils, the former Birds coach, pays a special visit to training camp, plus highlights and reaction from tonight's Phillies game. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Chevy Malibu Sports Night tonight after postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, it's 2-1 Cubs as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Eric Kratz, Cole Hamels, and then Michael Young to lead things off for the Phillies. Travis Wood took a little extra time getting out to the mound because he was on second base as that inning came to a close, and he had to dust himself off after he stumbled going around second base. Ben Revere joins us up here in the booth, and he's looking up at Fanavision. There's some funny scenes going on.
That's cute.
You see
cheerleader. Grown cheerleader.
Yeah, a very large cheerleader. Well, Murph's got a report. Let's turn it over to him. Murph, take it away.
All right, Tom. Thank you very much. You know, I have an injury update on Ben Revere, as a matter of fact. He's still walking with the boot, but we have seen him now walking without his crutches, which is certainly a good sign. I understand he's going to be checked out later this week, but I can report that Ben Revere, as always, in very good spirits. So that is good news, and we're hoping that perhaps Ben gets back out on the field soon. Hey, did I get that right?
Is that all true there? Is that all true? I mean, I
walk a little bit with the crutches and everything, but no, I'm hoping. I hate those crutches. Like, there's a couple of dents and everything in it. I'm so mad. I keep tripping and falling. I kind of failed today. So.
Well, you will be checked out later this week, right?
Yeah, I'll be checked out Friday, and so hopefully I get some good news from the doc.
What do you hope? What do you think they're going to tell you? They think they're going to tell you that you can give up the crutches and just walk in the boot, or you think you'll have the crutches?
I probably still. It's most likely I probably still have the crutches. Yeah, probably. I probably put a little bit more weight on my ankle, but not too much because, you know, with the screw and everything in there, don't want to mess it up and everything and be a longer process. But hopefully it'll give me some good news where I could, like, you know, keep building on my rehab, do some more stuff and everything.
Now, potentially, once the season's over with, you'll have a few months to get yourself fully healthy. Mm-hmm. Do you have any plans right now for the off season, just to make sure, because you're obviously miss a lot of time? You have any plans in the off season to get ready for 2014? I
probably guarantee they probably send me down to Instructs if that's the case, and I'm gonna want to if I do don't come back, and just, you know, get my game feeling back and everything. So I go in the off season, you know, already know 100%. But and plus, if like in that case, you know, I'll probably go down to spring training earlier, just make sure I'm still there. But in that case, you know, I'll probably be down there in Instructs to those guys, just kind of get back in the field of things and everything.
2 balls, 1 strike to Eric Kratz as we begin the 5th, and Kratz fouls it back. 2-2. What is the hardest part about the injury? Is it just sitting and watching?
I can't do nothing.
Yeah, well, that's true. You can't do anything.
I'm such an active person. I really can't do nothing. Just watching, I won't be out there help my team win. It kind of hurts. Like I said, this is the first time being in DL in the big leagues, and it kind of just kind of breaks my heart right there. But I'm still supporting my team. I'm still there, rooting them on and everything. Anything I can do, help them out, help them win. I'm trying my best to do that.
Pretty lonely. Pretty
lonely. I go back to my apartment, just lay down my bed, just kind of cry myself to sleep.
The thing is, though, when you're on the DL, I mean, you're a part of it, but you're not a part of it. I mean, it's just people will walk by, hey, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And they keep on walking, but it's not the dialogue, obviously, that you have when you're playing, and then you're a part of it. I thought it was just the loneliest time of ever being there on that on the DL.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely lonely. But you got to keep your head up, and you just got to keep fighting. Anything I could do, let this thing heal quickly, and just have a good mindset with that.
Yep.
1 ball, 1 strike to Cole Hamels. Hamels struck out his first time up. And he hits that one foul. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I tell you what, Cole has a really nice swing. He has one beautiful swing. Yep. I'll tell you that. I like his swing a lot. Him and Cliffs.
Well, those 2 guys. I mean, those are the right guys from a pitcher standpoint to point to, because they do swing the bat well.
Oh yeah, and BP, I watched them this whole year, and it's just they could drive it to the fences. They hit home runs.
Yep.
Well, that's the 6th strikeout for Travis Wood.
You got to pitch them like they are almost a hitter. You just can't pump both those guys just fastball. That was either a cutter or a little slide piece that they got Cole Hamels out on.
What do you think of this kid's cutter, Ben? I mean, when you prepare for a pitcher like this who has a good cutter, I mean, what's your thought process?
I'll probably just go the other way with it. With him, he has a little sinker. If I was playing, he'd be definitely just going sinker, cutter to me a lot. Get there. That's basically it.
Going to be a tough play. Yep, they took an odd hop.
But with that kind of guy like that, it's just you got to see it hit. With me, I know he probably pounded me in and go away with that cutter. So with me, some guys think my best ability is go opposite way. So he probably pounded me in a little bit and everything. I'll turn on it.
Oh yeah,
I'll turn on it. It may be blooper, but I'll turn on it. This is a hit.
So you have a game plan then on every single pitcher that you face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're trying to do against them. Basically, you know what that pitcher is trying to do against you.
Yep, especially up here. I learned that a lot. My first big league season in 2011. And
well, that's a beautiful bunt. Wood off the mound, bobbles it. Yep. Franson's been trying to do that for the last several games. He is a good bunter.
Yeah,
he's a great bunter. They play back on him. I'm like, man, lay that bunt down. Well, he had good speed too.
Yeah, that was really textbook though, getting it down. I like that because it's more toward the line. Take a look at it there as he deadens that ball to no chance to be able to get him, especially after that ball came in there. That's just a good bunt, good execution by Franson on that one.
Well, now Jimmy Rollins. Rollins 1 for 2 so far tonight. Phillies down by 1. They got a couple infield base hits. The infield hit by Michael Young, and now the bunt single by Franson. And that's at the knees. It's 0-1.
You see a triple right here. How you good feeling this bat?
I think when he lays off that high pitch, for me, I mean, he really has a chance. He's always been more of a low ball type hitter, quick inside, just like that hit he got his last at bat. But sometimes he has a tendency for me to want to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and when you do, when that elbow drops, you're going to get more pop-ups, and we've seen him do that. And he's going good. He's as good as it gets there at shortstop in terms of hitting the ball. Maybe not the power that Tulowitzki has that's in Denver. But
1-1 is down the right field line. That'll slice out of play. And it's 1-2. I know you've had a lot of guidance, Ben, during your career, whether it be Denard Span or some of the other guys in Minnesota. Obviously, Jimmy was the leadoff hitter here for a long time. Did he give you any advice? when you took over the leadoff spot, or when you came here to Philadelphia?
He just told me to do what I did last year when you guys came up to Target Field, and I was like, okay, that's easy. That's really all he said. But he just said, just play your game. That was what Charlie said. That was what most of the coaches said. I'm not a power guy. I was just get on base and try to get more walks. But just put the ball in play. Just cause havoc. In the batter's box on the base pass, and let the big boys do his work, driving me in.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch fouled away again. It remains 1-2. 78 pitches now for Travis Wood. This youngster brought his glove. Pretty good attempt at this one. Oh. Well, he's wearing a basketball shirt, so that pitch is low, 2-2.
You can't wear a basketball shirt at a baseball game. Come on, man.
He had his glove.
He
glove
did.
Just wasn't working the way it should.
You give him another chance, I bet he makes that catch next time. He's got it all lined up, and he's used to it now. Young leads off second. Franzenoff first. Outside, 3-2, so the runners will be off. See Navarro reminding everybody that the count is full. Dominic Brown waits on deck.
Do some damage, Jimmy.
What are you trying to do here, 3-2? You zone hitting, looking for a fastball, or looking for a certain situation, or are you just trying to protect?
Trying to drive that sucker.
That one's hit in the air to left field. Neal has room, but he just got that fastball in, and the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We go to the 6th here at Philadelphia. The Cubs up by 1. And getting on base on a regular basis. The Phillies have been in need of a right-handed presence in their lineup, and Darren has provided the punch they were looking for. Consistency will be the key for the 27-year-old trying to prove he belongs at the major league level. His performance at the plate hasn't been rough at all, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Darren Ruff's streak of getting on base is at 33 consecutive games. It began in his 4th game last year up here on the big league level. He's 0 for 2 so far tonight, but in the bottom of the 6th, he'll be up second for the Phillies. They trail at 2-1. Starlin Castro will lead it off here in the top of the 6th for the Cubs. And a swing and a miss at the first pitch. Hamill's got a pretty good fastball here tonight, don't you think?
Yeah, he has. Got some life on it. And again, location, that ball there at 90. Ball does get on you really quick. Has a tendency at times, though, to get a little bit too much at the plate. Good pitch.
There's a curveball, 0-2.
He has a sneaky fastball. I mean, he's so tall, he just extends out. When I faced him last year, that 90, 90 look like a 95.
He hides it pretty good, too.
He hides it pretty good. Plus with that changeup,
well, that's his best pitch, and there it was. A ground ball to third. Michael Young is up with it. And there's one away. For years, StubHub has been the place to go to buy Phillies tickets. And this season, you can get more with your tickets thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and get your seats today. Well, Ben Revere's been nice enough to join us up here in the booth, and I guess we're allowing him to pass some time while he's on the disabled. Well, you can come up here at any time if you want to.
I'll come up here. I got nothing to do. I'm bored. I'm knowing the coaches. I'm knowing some of the guys. They told me to go home. I'm like, I'm bored at home. What we do?
What are you
I
doing?
drive around the field.
You sit
like
inside with Wally Joyner? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I sit in the cages and stuff. Just cheering my guys on.
There's a foul ball. It's 0-1.
I'm bored in my mind.
How about Dominic Brown, the year that he's had, kind of coming into his own from that left side and really playing a tough position in left field to boot?
Yeah, I mean, no, I watched him all during minor leagues. I know he could hit. I guess I'm his good luck charm. I come over. I told him, I said, since I come over, man, you've been hitting now. You've been crushing. So I'm your good luck charm. Yeah. But, no, I just, man, when I faced him in the minor leagues, I knew he could crush the ball. I knew, like, usually some guys know it usually takes a little bit of time.
Right.
And the way he just did with that streak, just home run after home run after home run, everybody's like, wow, where's this coming from? And they're interviewing me. I'm like, who you talking about? I seen it. I see him personally. I seen him hit home runs over my head plenty of times. So
when you were in New Britain, he was in Reading, so you kind of got a chance to see him involved.
Yeah, saw him when he was in Lehigh Valley, New Britain, Florida State League, and Clearwater. I mean, every time he faced us, he at least getting 2 hits. One was a home run. I mean, a bomb. I mean, an absolute bomb. I don't move.
Well, it's, the good thing is, who knows where 2014 will lead the Phillies, but you know that he's in left or right. I mean, depending on which corner spot he goes to, and you're in center. So there's pieces to the foundation for the outfield, too. And you figure if Ruff can continue to do what he does, that's a nice addition to the other corner spot in the outfield.
I didn't know what he did. Saying,
Kratz is on it, and it does stay in, so 2 outs.
But the season Ruff had last year, I didn't know about it till spring training. I saw all his stats. I'm like, man, then I saw some games spring training where he's just backspinning.
He's legit.
He's legit.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, what do you have, like, total of 30?
38 in the minor leagues.
What's the total he had, like 40-something, like 40?
Was 38 in the minor leagues and then 3 up in the big leagues.
Yeah, and then he went to winter ball.
Right.
Okay, and he had 11 there in Venezuela, 11 or 12.
Yeah, didn't play the whole year when he was in Venezuela. Thomas Neal takes inside and low, 1-0. And like we said, you were in the Eastern League. Those aren't small ballparks.
It's not small ballparks.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they're not. No, Dom made that look like a T-ball field, and of course Ruff did too.
Into the hole, Rollins backhands, long throw, dug out by Darren Ruff. Side is retired. 1-2-3 go the Cubs. So Hamels has done his job tonight. Darren Ruff is due up second when we return in the bottom of the 6th, with the Phillies down by 1.
By W.B. Mason, you can't go wrong when you buy right. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com.
That was outstanding.
We're back at the game. Welcome back, everybody. We miss you.
All right, so if you had gotten to Kentucky, would you have been a broadcast major?
Oh, man, I don't know, maybe.
That's where you would have gone, right? If you hadn't signed?
I signed with the University of Georgia.
Georgia, okay.
Yeah, they want full ride of baseball. They want me to play football, but SEC football, no, I'm good.
Hey, that's a beautiful
I saw what
campus.
Clowney did to that running back from Michigan. No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, Dominic Brown will lead things off here in the bottom of the sixth. Ben Revere spending some time with us up here in the booth.
Hello,
the Phillies
everybody.
down 2-1. Just killing some time as he's on the disabled list.
Yeah.
Dominic is homered. He's also walked here tonight. Ground ball foul, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. He has walked with a confidence this year. Would you agree with that, Dominic Brown?
Oh, yes. I mean, the way he's been playing this year, I mean, you have 25 home runs. He had walked with a little bit of confidence. And your first All-Star game and everything. So, hey, I would too. There's no chance I could hit 25 home runs, but
well, I know you've talked about that, and everybody's always talked about the number of ABs, and you're like, hey, listen, I'm not a home run hitter, but you did hit home runs in the minor leagues. You had a few in the minor leagues.
I at least have one. You know, I get my one, but it just sometimes I get unlucky. Every time I play in big ballpark, I hit to the deepest part of the park and hit the fence.
Like in Marlins Stadium, Marlins
yes.
Park.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like either I crush it and it'll just die. And everything, I'm just like, I can't get nothing. I can't get nothing. I don't know what it's about. All the fans are like, "We gonna hit your first one?" I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
I want
inside
one.
the park counts too, you know.
That's a good
I'm waiting for
point.
one, hit one off the fence, ricochet. I've run for days. I've been already caught twice inside Parker, so I just know my luck's not there yet.
Well, it's 2 balls and no strikes to Darren Ruff. Here at the ballpark, if you can get it out to that 409 sign, and then it'll run to the right on the warning track, then you'll be able to get it inside the park home run.
Okay.
Although that's the deepest part of the park.
Yeah, it's the deepest part. I can get it to right field.
Fly ball, shallow center. Junior Lake is under it. And there are 2 outs. Well, I know you've made this kind of play before when you were at Minnesota, but this was probably the defensive play of the year. Take us through that a little bit.
You know, Frazier, he has some major backspin on his ball. It was like a line drive to me, and I saw it just slipped. The last second, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to reach out and grab this thing, and I just saw it go into my glove. But, you know, I'm running for dear life. I was like, I can't let this thing go over my head. But it's something nice to just do on the incident with Boston and everything.
Absolutely.
But you know, I just told myself right before a game, I should pray for Boston on my glove just to be remembrance of those victims.
Well, and that got a lot of attention too, but I think it also shows people, not because you're sitting here, but just what a sincere person you are and what a good guy you are. So it got a lot of attention, rightfully so.
I mean, I'm a great guy. I'm a nice guy. You know, you know, I put smile on faces. I joke around. You know what I'm saying?
I know one thing. You do have a lot of energy, for sure.
That's why I'm so bored right now.
That's why those crutches have no shot.
I'm like shaking. I'm like just like I want to do something, but no, you gotta have that one goofball in the clubhouse, and that's what everybody has me as.
Well, it's no balls and 2 strikes to Delman Young with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
I'm sure they'll be happy once you get back out on that field.
No swings is Marty Foster, 1 and 2.
Oh, definitely, yes.
So going through that streak there, you seeing it hitting the ball, I mean, were you just feeling like, hey, I'm getting 2 today, I'm getting 3 today?
You know, when you're in that groove, you feel like it, you know, and especially, you know, most of it was, I gave the first hit, my first at bat, and I'm like, okay, I see this guy good now. So, you know, after a while, I was like, I feel a lot more confident.
Yeah, well, you look good on left-handed pitchers. Again, I guess that game plan where you're actually hitting that ball up the middle and the other way and line drive. You were getting away from them double plays.
Yeah, I know.
Early in the season.
I know. It's just like I hit the ball hard, and it just be right to the guys right there. It's just, I'm just a man, but luckily I finally through the middle. No, I was sending power up away again, like extra base hits and everything, so it's good.
Hey, listen, come back and join us again, all right, sometime.
I will. I'm bored. Just let me know.
Ben Revere, our guest up here in the booth. We'll be back with the top of the 7th right after this.
well-pitched game, and it sure is. A couple of home runs in this game, one by the Phils, one by Donnie Murphy of the Cubs. Cole Hamels, another solid outing here tonight. Once again, though, they're not scoring a whole lot for him. The Phils trail at 2-1.
Cody Ransom started off his last at-bat, which was in the 5th inning with a double, and then came around to score what is now the go-ahead run.
Yeah, the one thing we talked about with Cody Ransom, and he threw him 3 changeups his first. Don't throw him fastballs in the strike zone. And they went with a first ball fastball. I guess they figured, well, maybe he's going to look changeup. First ball fastball, and he nailed it. And that's the difference in the game right now.
Well, that's the changeup right there to get him to roll over on it for the first out.
And that's what Cody Ransom will do on off-speed pitches. But he can hit fastballs. But they may have just outguessed himself a little bit on that first pitch. Thought maybe he'd be taken.
Cole Gillespie, the hitter, he's 0 for 2. He's flied to right. He's also grounded the third. 13 ground ball outs tonight for Cole Hamels.
Yeah, he's in a little trouble. He's getting the leadoff man was on every inning, it seemed like, early in the game. And now he gets the leadoff man out the last 2 innings, and that can make it a lot easier on you as a pitcher.
At the knees, 0-1 to Gillespie.
His chair is still vibrating from Ben.
He was great, wasn't he? Great?
He's something.
Did you hear him read the billboards?
I heard him here. Tried to get down the tunnel to read him. Yeah, he has some energy. This got to kill him sitting around like this.
Out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sarge's passing notes. My thought is that he did research.
You know, he told me before,
the right answer.
No, he told me before, as we were doing the changeover in the 4th inning, he gave me this guy's name.
Yeah, he had already got the computer
and said the guy never made it to the big leagues. It was a player to be named later for him. So I'm going to read it and
get the buzzer.
Yeah, I deserve the buzzer because anybody that gets this, they looked it up. I'm sorry. Stump the fans and all, that's what it's for. But you looked it up if you got this one. Nobody knows this except maybe this guy.
And he may have forgotten by now.
Yeah. Gary who?
2 balls, 2 strikes to Gillespie.
Nice of Sarge to help out, though.
Cubs acquired Gillespie off waivers from the San Francisco Giants. He has 8 hits in 37 at-bats. Now the 2-2 pitch. A spinner out toward the middle, cut off by Rollins, and a little humpback liner for the second out. Well, the Phillies will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers Friday, August 16th. That's the beginning of a 3-game series, 2 night games, and then the day game at 1:35 on Sunday the 18th. It's Liberty Mutual Insurance Fanatic T-shirt, free to fans 15 and over, and the Fanatic Fathead that same day, free to fans 14 and under. To get your tickets, go to Phillies.com. That was the Fathead you just saw there. Donnie Murphy homered his first time up, was hit by a pitch his last time.
He's hurt him in this series. 3-run home run last night, and then the fly ball down the right field line that hit off the railing just inside the pole.
Well, he pulls that one toward the corner. He's going to get 2 out of that. Sometimes you might say no big deal, the pitcher's due up next, but you've got a very good hitting pitcher in Travis Wood,
which they showed last time when he didn't bunt with 2 men on.
These lucky fans are tonight's Citizen 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
Yeah, you have to pitch this guy like he's a hitter now, because he's up there. He's not trying to hit a home run. He's trying to give himself an insurance run. He's in there with another one of those quality starts too. He's already pitched 6 innings tonight. He's given up 1 earned run.
Well, 2 good left-handers, as we mentioned.
Well pitched game tonight. Hamill's been in a couple jams. So is Wood.
Threw him a changeup, 1 ball and 1 strike. Right. Swung on and missed.
And he is a pitcher up there hitting, so that's why you figure he's a pitcher for a reason. and you have to get him out in this spot and not let them pick up a 2-out run with the 8 and 9 hole hitters.
Swing and a miss at a high fastball, 2-2.
See where they go here now, because if Hamill throws a 2-2 changeup, he's not afraid to throw a 3-2 changeup, even though he is a pitcher. I'm going to second guess what they were going to do there, probably, and just maybe go through them again. Maybe they'll go right back to where they were before, but you could tell he wasn't comfortable.
Goes changeup, swung on and missed, and he gets out of it here in the 7th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in scoring position. Time to stretch here in Philadelphia. The Phillies trail the Cubs 2-1. Wheels, here's the question one more time. Who was the player to be named later in the Mariners trade to the Cubs for the Sarge in 1987?
Sarge says it was Dave Hartnett, and he did not play in the major leagues.
Dave Hartnett is correct. That's good research on the part of Sarge.
He says he knew it.
I'm sure he did remember it to a certain extent.
I think he did, because he came in here in the 4th inning and he was ready.
And I'm sure he said with a lot of confidence and feeling very good about himself that he did not make it to the major leagues. Dave Hartnett.
Well, there was a little measure of satisfaction.
Dave Hartnett is out of Creighton University. 14th round selection by the Mariners back in 1986. He made it as high as single A in the Midwest League. Now, as we get set for the bottom of the 7th, John Mayberry will lead it off, and it's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph, take it away, buddy.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy College, of course. Orioles, they continue to be a factor in the AL East with a win today over the Padres, highlighted by the 41st home run by Chris Davis. It was a 453-foot shot, the second longest home run in Petco Park history, as the O's won that game 10-3. How about this? 2 former Phillies in the news today. Jay Happ back on the field for the first time since May the 7th when he took that line drive in the head. Because he made the roster for the Toronto Blue Jays, Michael Schwimmer was designated for assignment, also a former Phil. and Jose Valverde, and the experiment with the Detroit Tigers guys is now over. Both parties deciding that they would part ways. Valverde, of course, was demoted to AAA earlier this year after being re-signed by the Tigers to be their closer. Demoted to AAA, and today outright released from his minor league contract. So that experiment is all over, guys.
All right, Murph, and just as you say that, John Mayberry decides to put one inside the third base bag, and he'll slide into second with a leadoff double. Thomas Neal had a maneuver around the ball girl, did a nice job getting out of the way, and I think Neal hurt himself.
Hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, he started grabbing his arm as he went to the ground, and now has his shoulder.
Wow. Here's a guy they just bring up the play and did something on that throw, it looked like, or maybe after he threw it, he fell on his shoulder.
Dale Swaim comes running out with the athletic trainer for the Cubs.
Mayberry fought off that cutter. It's been such a problem tonight, and dribbles it down the line. Now let's see what happens. He fields it right here. He picked it up and he threw, and then we looked away.
Yeah, it was.
We heard
right
it on the throw.
Yep.
Yeah, he did it on the throw. Yeah, it wasn't on a fall. He just did it on the throw.
Well, that is a shame, and he's holding the side of the shoulder, and the athletic trainer is working toward the back of the shoulder. As Wheels mentioned, they just picked up Thomas Neal, who was designated for assignment by the Yankees after hitting over 300 in the minor leagues for Scranton. Well, by the looks of it, I can't imagine he's going to be able to stay in this ball game. He's trying to stretch it out, it seems.
Well, you go down like that after a throw and you hold your arm that way, you really hurt yourself. I'm sure it appears that way. Hardly ever see a position player do something like that. That's something you see happen with a pitcher, but not a position player on a throw.
So he'll exit, and the Cubs will make some adjustments. That's David DeJesus walking through the dugout. He's got his glove. They'll probably put him in center and move Lake over to left. And we'll get you an update as soon as we have one on Neal. Boy, you hate to see anybody go through something like that. So DeJesus will head out to center field. Lake will go over to left field. It gives us a chance to take a look at our cold hard fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Phillies are 19-10 versus the Cubs at Citizens Bank Park since 2004 when the ballpark opened. They have not lost a home series to the Cubs since April 6th through the 8th, 2001. It's pretty darn good. Phillies trying to get a victory here tonight and win another series against them.
Yeah, back into that situation. Of course, in these years we only play a team once, home and away, as opposed to the other years before they changed some things around. You play, Cubs would always come to Philadelphia twice. Phillies gone out there. They'd come 3 times. Phillies would have gone out there 3 times. That's one of the reasons why Jack Schmidt hit so many home runs at Wrigley Field, because they played so many games there and he was so good.
Well, Eric Kratz is up with a runner at second. Cole Hamels is indeed in the on-deck circle, although Luis Garcia is warming in the bullpen.
Kratz isn't a guy you would think would bunt.
And he takes a curveball, and it's 0-1.
You see what he did right there was throw a big old slow curveball. Why would he do that? Because he wants him to pull the ball to the left side and keep Mayberry at second base. Speed up his bat. He's thinking about hitting it the other way. It's really hard to wait on a curveball that long and hit it the other way.
Off the end of the bat, 0-2.
Have to get this run now. You're at home late in the game. Fundamental run in a 1-run game. Got to get him over, get him in.
Out toward right field. Going back is Gillespie. Back to the track, to the wall. He makes the catch. Tagging from second is Mayberry. So nice job by Kratz. He does his job and gets the runner over to third. And now Cole Hamels will be pinch hit for here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Great job, especially with 2 strikes. that he was able to tomahawk that ball and get it in the air like that to right field and get the runner over.
Well, Cole did a wonderful job here tonight. Just 2 runs and 6 hits over 7 innings.
Here it is, 2 strikes. They're going to go up with a fastball for a strikeout or a pop-up, they hope. And Kratz really strong to be able to drive a high pitch like that far. Tremendous at bat.
Rich Doobie and Cole chatting as Dale Swain goes out to the mound. That might be it for Travis Wood. He does have the right-hander warming up. He does in Guerrier, so it looks like he's going to lift Wood after 96 pitches. So both starters are now out of the ball game officially, and Guerrier, who the Cubs got from the Dodgers for Carlos Marmol, is going to come into this game. It's an AT&T call to the bullpen here in Philadelphia. The Phillies trail the Cubs 2-1 with a tying run over third. Special. Following the game, Modell Sporting Goods Kids Run the Bases for fans 14 and under. All fans coming to the ballpark will receive the Chase Utley Pride of the Phillies print. Compliments of Citizens Bank. And Chase is going to come up now to pinch hit for the Phillies. Travis Wood lifted for the new pitcher, Matt Guerrier.
This double move here. Using up 2 players right now to try and tie the game in the 7th inning. And you wind up using up your backup catcher, too.
Well, Francis is going to have to stay in the game, Wheels. He's the emergency catcher. So Mayberry's over at third. Utley will stand in. The infield is in for the Cubs.
Yeah, they're not going to give you the run here either.
16 hits as a pinch hitter for Utley. Jim Salisbury from CSNPhilly.com reported tonight that Utley and the Phillies have agreed to a contract extension. Obviously, that's been talked about over the last several weeks. We have nothing to report on that, as the first pitch is taken high. 1 ball and no strikes. That guy was born to wear red pinstripes right there.
And Jim was one of the first, if not the first, to report on that fact that the Phillies were working on a contract extension with him.
1 ball, no strikes to Utley with Mayberry over at third. And out of play behind home plate, 1-1.
Amazing. This guy this year, Guerrier, left-handed hitters 186 and right-handed hitters 306. Travis Wood, give them another good start here tonight.
And with those numbers, you know, they say he's been good since he's arrived from Los Angeles. Better for them than Marmol was.
Oh, well.
One and two to Chase.
Marmol was just daily agita. he just, that guy had unbelievable stuff, but he just couldn't close games. It was too nerve-wracking. This guy's tried to close some games for the Dodgers over the years too, and they've been through a lot of different pitchers.
Line drive, base hit it to center field, and we're tied up at 2. And he almost took Revere's head off as Mayberry crosses the plate. RBI single.
He kept slopping breaking balls up there to him. He didn't throw him a whole lot of fastballs in that at bat to chase. And another curveball there. And he had seen enough of them, I guess, Tom, that he timed it really well. And as you said, he almost gets him with this. There it is. It's another curveball. Oh, right back at him and into center field. Great at bat. And they really felt that they could get him out on something slow or pop him up maybe, and they don't do it.
Well, now Michael Young is the hitter, so Hamill's off the hook as far as the loss goes. Maybe the Phillies can get him a win with another run here in the 7th. Each pitcher charged with 2 earned runs tonight. Three balls, no strikes to Michael Young. Toyota Major League Scoreboard, an update from down in D.C. The Braves lead the Nationals 3-2. DJ Upton has 3 hits. His brother extended his hitting streak to 12. The Nationals only have 1 hit tonight. Meanwhile, the Braves have 10. Medlin is still pitching in the 7th inning for Atlanta. And ball 4, Michael Young works out a walk. 2 on, 1 out. Kevin Franzen's due up. That's the story right there, the line score. We're in the bottom of the 7th. And Chris Basio will take a very slow stroll out to the mound.
Well, they have the one left-hander in the bullpen, James Russell. He's up throwing right now for them.
Swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. Available for your iPhone and your iPad. Download it free today. Russell would be brought in to move Rollins over to the right side and then to face Dominic Brown eventually.
Right. 185 against left-handed hitters and 318 right-handed hitters for him.
So the home plate umpire, Jordan Baker, our first game with him behind the plate, go out to break up that conversation.
Yeah, and you have to look his name up because you haven't had to use it much tonight, which is a great sign.
I think he's done a heck of a job.
2 real good pitchers out there tonight, and hardly even talked about this young guy.
Franzen, infield bunt, or bunt single, I should say, his last time up. And it's high, 1 ball, no strikes.
Okay, one swing of the bat now with a runner in scoring position. Last time up was a good idea. Get Jimmy Rollins up there.
One ball and 1 strike to Franzen. By the way, that base hit by Utley, the pinch hit, ended in an 0 for 24 stretch for Phillies pinch hitters. He also drove in a run to tie the game at 2. Phillies pinch hitters have been some of the best in the league here in 2013, but since the All-Star break they had struggled. Line drive, base hit it to right field. Utley rounding third, heading for home. Here's the throw to the plate. It is in time as Navarro hangs on. And he is hurt.
That was some collision.
Sure was.
Chase Utley had no choice but to run him over. He was standing right on top of home plate. You give the catcher a lot of credit. And what a throw from right field, too.
Oh, Navarro, he is really shaken up.
Yeah, he's hurt. Boy, that was a big, tough baseball play right here. Here's a throw from right field. It's on one hop, and he's right on top of the plate. Utley has nowhere to go except to go right into him. Here we look at it again. Here he comes. He takes it at the back of the plate. He decides he's going to run him over. If he slides, he's going to slide right into the shin guard and go nowhere. So that, oh, he hit his knee.
Boy, and he smothered that plate.
Yep.
Navarro did.
Yep. I mean, he was right on top of the plate. You slide there, you slide right into the shin guard, and he comes in. Oh, wow.
Well, he's like a tree trunk, Navarro, the way he's built. Boy, he took a huge burden on his front leg and his back leg when he bent back.
Yeah, you just hope he's all right. He feels the best way for him to score right here is to bowl him over and knock the ball out, because you can see he's going to be out. And he knocks him over, and that guy somehow holds on. He puts both hands down. He holds onto the ball and puts the other hand there. And what a great play by Navarro. Wow. To hold on to that ball. Here's the hop. Here he comes. He slides. And then flips right into it. Well, they say this isn't a collision sport, and for the most part it isn't, but that was.
Sean Ficazzi, the Phillies athletic trainer, one of the Phillies athletic trainers, also out there with the Cubs athletic training staff. And Navarro's, a handful of his teammates, including Revere and Cody Ransom, out around home plate.
It's a heck of a throw by Cole Gillespie, too.
It was.
He gave him a long hop. It was a little bit to the right field side where he had to reach out and come back, but he still had gotten himself pretty well set for the collision.
There's Wellington Castillo, who's got the gear on. He's going to take over behind the plate. So while they tend to Deanna Navarro at home plate, we're going to step aside in a 2-2 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th inning at Citizens Bank Park. Navarro at home plate after a collision with Chase Utley, as Chase was trying to score from second base. The EMTs have been out there since the collision occurred, or right after the collision occurred, and now the John Deere will head out toward home plate. Now there's the play again. Utley leading off second. Ball is hit hard to right.
It's 2 hops and then a 1-hop throw. A little bit to the right field side where Navarro has to reach for it and then come back, blocks the play. That's why a lot of catchers swipe tag at home plate, because they don't want to have something like this happen to them. And he gets run over and obviously hurting a leg. Well, it's the left or the right one.
I think when folks see that, they just remember Buster Posey with the Giants in a similar collision against the Florida Marlins.
Well, when catchers don't block the plate, you know, they reach back and swipe. They give the plate up all the time. That's never going to happen. You give Navarro a lot of credit. Boy, he sat right there and said, if you're going to get there, you're going to come through me. And that's what Utley tries to do. Here's another look at it.
See, at that point, it looks like Utley's going to try to slide, and then at the last moment, he changed his mind and curls his leg, because I don't think Navarro was giving any room at all around that plate area.
Well, no, he had it in time to brace himself for it. It wasn't. If it was a short hop, he couldn't have done that. It was a long hop. Always sad when you see something like that. But you talk about some guts. The guy blocking home plate. You don't see much of that anymore, and that's one of the reasons why. Guy right there that played in this ballpark in the World Series in 2008 for the Rays. Was on base when the game ended.
And the crowd acknowledging him as he heads off, being dealt with by the EMT staff. They were out there very quickly. So were both trainers, both athletic trainers for both teams.
Yeah, it was obvious that that was something that they needed more than just the athletic trainers to come out. That was very serious.
So Wellington Castillo will take over behind the plate, and Jimmy Rollins will bat against the right-hander Guerrier. Chase Utley plays the game hard from start to finish. He got off second base the way he normally gets off second base, but it was Gillespie's throw and then the subsequent block by Navarro which stopped him from scoring.
I really thought that was going to be the tying or the go-ahead run there, the way it started out.
Rollins 1 for 3. And it's inside to him. 1 ball and no strikes.
The base runners are at first and second, too. Throw was low, so you know, maybe they thought it was going to get cut off, so they had to make sure. But
curveball outside, 2-0. Rollins has 11 home runs in his career against the Cubs.
Cubs lost 2 players in this inning to injuries, serious looking injuries.
Change up, and it's 2-1. Rollins out front.
That's a heck of a 2-0 pitch. So a change up there. He's looking fastball all the way.
Check swing. Did he go? No. This is Wally Bell, and it's full. Russell's the left-hander. Parker is the right-hander. Both runners will be off on this next pitch to Rollins. The end of the bat, he was out front again. It's out of play, and we'll do it again.
You know, they came 3-2 off speed to him. Either breaking ball or change up. Change up.
We do it again. The runners go. The pitch is pulled foul.
Well, look like he got a fastball that time, a little bit up and in, maybe ball 4. Jimmy from the left side, such a low ball hitter. Right side, he hits the ball up better, but left side he's really a good low ball hitter.
Outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So Russell's going to wind up coming in to face Dominic Brown. Rollins did not bite on that changeup. That was a ball once it left the hand of Revere. So Basio and Dal Swaim talking things over. Here comes Dal Swaim. And he's going to go to the bullpen with Dominic Brown due up. So there's the signal to get James Russell. He'll come on with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, the Phillies have tied the game up on a pinch hit single by Chase Utley. Chase was eventually thrown out trying to score from second, and now it's in the hands of Dominic Brown. We return. Saw it. Phillies had tied the game up at 2. Kevin Franzen lined one to right field. Chase Utley was coming home on one hop, and Deanna Navarro smothered the plate. Chase went into his lead leg. Navarro held on, and the out was recorded. It was an amazing play from a Navarro standpoint, and he was helped off the field. And it wasn't the front leg, it was the back leg, which bent back. He was taken off on the John Deere with the EMTs.
Just amazing that he held on to that baseball with that collision.
It's our Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Well, here we are, bases loaded. Phillies have scored 1 run. This inning is nearly a half hour. This half inning is nearly a half hour old. And now James Russell is on to face Dominic Brown.
Fastball, slider, changeup, 185 left-handed hitters, 318 right-handed hitters.
Brown has homered tonight, 25 home runs on the year. And he swings at the first pitch, hits it foul over the Cubs dugout, 0-1.
Trying to keep that shoulder in on that slider. Hasn't been able to do it on the first 2 swings.
Michael Young at third, Franzen at second, Rollins at first. No balls, 2 strikes to Brown. Checks his swing, 1-2. those numbers. Wheels talked about the batting average against left-handers.
88 to 91 fastball guy. But all sliders so far, and that's what you would expect.
Travis Wood, the starter, with Anthony Rizzo. Wood went 6 1/3. And the 1-2 pitch coming to Dominic Brown. Breaking ball low, 2-2.
Boy, they're pitching them away and playing them away. They're way over left center field with DeJesus, the new center fielder. Huge gap in right center field.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Brown. Ground ball back over the middle. Castro is there, and it's a nice easy hop, and he'll get Rollins at second base. So the Phillies do tie it up on the RBI pinch hit single by Chase Utley, but unable to give Cole Hamels an opportunity to win this game. We'll go to the 8th, evened up at 2. Now, Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. Chase Utley remains in the ball game to play second base for the Phillies. So Kevin Franzen is out of the game. Luis Garcia will take over on the mound for Cole Hamels, who was excellent today through 7 innings. Garcia, a 2.61 earned run average so far. And he'll face Junior Lake, who is 2 for 3 in this ball game. Swing and a miss at the slider, 0-1.
But he's thrown as a good tilt on his slider. He has shown that since he came up to the major leagues. Has Garcia. Junior Lake tonight had the go-ahead single, the bloop single that had given the Cubs a lead. Phillies just tying the game. He's a glove waggler out there, but he must do it on both pitches, because that would be one of those things that when they say tipping pitches, a lot of times they look for flaring of the glove on certain pitches. He does that, but he must not do anything different on fastball or slider.
There's 3 straight sliders. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It'd be pretty easy to pick up if he did. Better believe they sit in the dugout on the other side and they count how many times he does it too.
Travis Wood can't win, can't lose tonight's ball game. He and Cole Hamels both pitched well tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Slider low, 2-2. we did receive an update on both injured players for the Cubs. Neal dislocated his right shoulder on the throw to second. He is going to be continue to be evaluated. Swing and a miss and a slider, 1 out, and Deanna Navarro is going to the hospital to get his right leg x-rayed. And if anything changes on that, if there's any updates, we'll let you know. One away. Darwin Barney is due up, and let's check in with Greg Murphy, who has another update on something outside of the ballpark. Murph?
Yeah, we got a good baseball game here and also some good baseball games going on in the Little League level. We told you last week, guys, about the East Greenwich team from South Jersey in the Mid-Atlantic Championships. Well, we also have a team from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, from Lionville, that are also in those Mid-Atlantic Championships. And after the pool play, I'm happy to report that the Lionville team undefeated and will be the #1 seed in the Mid-Atlantic tournament as they head to the semifinals on Friday. Of course, you win the semifinals, you play in the finals on Sunday. You win both of those games, you represent the Mid-Atlantic in the National League World Series as John Mayberry collects that one in. So just a great accomplishment for these kids, 11 and 12-year-olds out of Downingtown, Lionville, Pennsylvania, 2 steps away from the Little League World Series. So we'll keep our eyes on that, guys.
Be a great thrill. Yeah. In fact, there's regional games going on all around the country. In fact, if you watch any of the highlights around the country, whether it be on the internet or on television, there's some pretty cool plays that are being made by all these Little Leaguers in different parts of the country.
It's very cool. And if I'm not mistaken, Tom, I should mention, I believe the semifinal game is on national television. So
sure it is, yeah.
You can watch it.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. We'll keep you updated on what's happening with Little League Baseball. As the count is 0 balls and 1 strike to Starlin Castro. Castro is 1 for 3 in this game. Back toward the middle, off the mound, backhanded by Utley, and nice job by Garcia. He works a 1-2-3 top of the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cubs and Phils even at 2. Darren Rupp due to lead things off for the Phils. Carlos Ruiz. Rich Doobie came over talking, it looks like, a little bit about tempo. It's time now for our Coors Light Freeze Cab. All right, here's Donnie Murphy earlier in the ballgame, Wheels. It was close. Point.
Right on top of the railing, Tom, and a big hop. Watch this little kid there. Fletcher right here. You see it hit the railing and startle a little bit. Whoa, what was that? That was that ball that guy just hit.
The youngster behind her made the backhanded play. Coors Light Freeze Camp brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
They could have used that shot on Sunday night when they were trying to do that replay.
That is true. That would have been perfect.
Review, I mean. Yeah, I was thinking that sitting there watching that at home with they had that camera that we have all the time, it would have made that call a lot easier.
Pedro Strop is the new pitcher for the Cubs as we start the bottom of the 8th. Strop is the 4th pitcher used tonight by Chicago. Darren Ruff 0 for 3. He has reached base safely in 33 consecutive games. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
We saw this guy last year with the Orioles. Big arm. 94 to 97, but all over the place. And the Orioles finally gave up on him. But he looked like he was going to be their closer at one time or have a shot at it.
He's done a decent job for the Cubs.
Yeah. Oh, he has great stuff. He's one of those explosive pitchers. Explosive stuff.
2 balls, no strikes. Inside, 3-0.
Darren Ruff needs to extend that on-base streak, and this would be a perfect time to do it.
Delman Young is on deck. Now it's 3-2, which it is often for Darren Ruff.
He had a pitch to hit that time. That was one of those running fastballs that really didn't get all the way in on him.
And there's Papelbon starting to loosen up and get ready for the top of the 9th inning.
Even after all those pitches last night.
Swing and a miss, and Ruff is down on strikes. 1 out.
Ooh, did that sink?
Sure did.
Man.
6 pitch at bat, but 1 away. And Delman Young is ready to hit for the Bills. Derek Gunn profiles defensive line coach Jerry Azanaro. What does the Birds' new assistant head coach demand mentally and physically from his players? Find out on New to the Nest, presented by Nest International tonight on Sports Night after Phillies coverage on Comcast Sportsnet.
He's had a couple of those sinkers up in this inning too, like that one. And then he's thrown a perfect one the way he just did to Ruff that he chased. Another one.
Well, after 3 straight balls to start the appearance, he has 5 straight strikes. And it's 0-2 to Delman Young.
Never saw a catcher do that. Put down 3, wanted breaking ball, and then he put both hands away. Want that breaking ball away, and he shook it off and went back to sinker.
Well, Strop thought that was strike 3. Maybe he felt like Delman couldn't see it, so he just had to make sure the pitcher saw it.
Well, he was making sure that he told him he wanted it away, but they usually are more discreet.
Swing and a miss, and that's the pitch he wanted a couple pitches ago. 2 outs here in the 8th, and John Mayberry's coming up.
It's sinker, 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 and then he comes slider. Here comes that slider away, and after all those sinkers, he chases it. There's Strop coming over with the hard breaking ball. Sinker, slider for the most part. I would think he'll use his changeup if he does use it to left-handed hitters, because he's going to go sinker, slider to the right-handers.
Well, Mayberry tonight has doubled and scored a run. In fact, he scored the tying run in the 7th after he began the inning with that double.
John pretty much straight away in the outfield. He may just turn him loose here. A little high sinker right down the middle. 2 outs, nobody on base.
And there's ball 4. 2-out walk, and it brings Eric Kratz up. Kratz is 0 for 3. He's flied out twice, including his last time to the wall. Don't forget, Utley is the on-deck batter. The pitcher's spot is Franzen's spot in the order, which is the 2-hole. Very short lead for Mayberry. It's not first base or third base where the Phillies have their troubles when it comes to pickoffs. It's second base.
Playing Kratz up the middle with a second baseman Barney, gave him the whole, basically the whole right side, holding the runner on it. As you see there, first and third, the 2 outs, not that big a deal. You'd like to get it, but it's not as important. But they're figuring he's going to hit the ball up the middle, and they're going to cheat that way. This guy's got a lot of fastball, and it really runs. You can see why you would want him to try and develop him, because he has tremendous stuff. It's hard to teach a guy to sink a ball 95 or 96. He just do it.
Papelbon in the pen.
Well, they're thinking right now is they may turn him loose 0-2, and even if Kratz were to strike out and end the inning, or if he didn't strike out to end the inning, you know, they would have the Phillies could get the runner to second, but they don't think he's going to run.
In the dirt, blocked by Castillo. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Phillies sometimes managers feeling on that is if the guy gets thrown out, all right, and I'll start the next inning with a fresh count with the hitters at the plate.
I wonder if in Mayberry's head if he's a little sheepish just because of the pickoff the other end. He's not going to get a huge jump.
Right. Well, that's what they're throwing over there. I don't think Mayberry's a guy with a green light either. They would have to tell him to go.
I don't think after being picked off the other night he has the green light.
No, he's not that kind of runner, I don't think. Never know, though.
Yeah, 1-2 to Kratz. Doesn't go. Swing and a miss. Side is retired. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Strop. The Phillies leave 1 over at first. We have played 8. We go to the 9th inning. Still, it's a 2-2 game between the Phillies and the Cubs. which winds down on Wednesday the 21st with a Pico Cole Hamels bobble figurine that you see right there. It's free to all fans. In fact, it's a 4-game series that wraps up on Thursday the 22nd. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Cole started tonight, was excellent through 7 innings, allowed just 2 runs. He will not win or lose this game as we go to the top of the 9th, even at 2. Luis Garcia continues for the Phillies. He'll face Wellington Castillo up for the first time. First pitch is low and in, 1 ball and no strikes. Garcia pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning.
Yeah, only threw 10 pitches.
And 1 ball and 1 strike. David Bell knocks it down outside the third base coach's box. The Mets shut out the Rockies 5-0. Matt Harvey, a complete game, scattered 4 hits. It's his first career shutout.
He'll probably have more.
Now to Castillo. We just showed David Bell, who played for the Phils for a few years, crossed over from the vet over here to Citizens Bank Park. Had a nice talk with David today. He was discussing the opportunity that he's had now to be back in the big leagues as a third base coach after managing in the Reds organization. Said it's the toughest part about not playing anymore is just not being part of the competition of it. He said, but this is being a coach is extremely fulfilling. He was successful with the Reds at AA and AAA as a manager. Brought over to Chicago to man third base under Dale Swain.
Where we're talking to him about his cycle. And we remembered that well.
Ball 4, Castillo's aboard. That cycle came against the Kansas City Royals.
It was a triple. It was the last one, and that's the hardest one, especially for a guy who didn't run very well like David. And he said he insisted that he didn't know that he needed a triple for the cycle, and he didn't know until he got over there and Vuk told him. John Vukovich was coaching third. He said, you just did for the cycle. I did? He said back in those days, he says, I was just trying to get a hit the way it was going.
So he signed David Bell after he was with the Giants and did very well. On paper, it was a good signing. He never developed here into the third baseman he probably was that year with the Giants. But he was a competitive ball player.
He said he thought he did it against Montreal. It was Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kansas City. Beltran, I think, was in center field.
Right. I didn't remember.
1-0 to DeJesus.
Took that crazy carom out there in center. Meanwhile, this guy did a great job in that 1 inning, and now he's all over the place here in this inning. Comes deciding not to bunt, and one of the reasons could be because he's wild and they don't want to just give up the out right now. Helpless feeling for the defense, for him, everybody in red, when you can't throw it over the plate in a tie game in the 9th inning.
DeFreitas joins Diekman out in the bullpen. Jesus overall 266 hitter with 6 home runs, 27 runs batted in. He's played for the Royals, the A's, and of course the Cubs. Swing and a miss. He swung at ball 4. That certainly helps Garcia out.
Ooh, did it ever. Now you wonder if they would run here. It's so wild. De Jesus very impatient right there. That thing cut. Certainly was not a strike. After that wild swing and a miss, you wouldn't think they'd run here, but you know they're on the road. At this point of the year, you may take a chance.
Short lead for Castillo. He goes, swing and a miss. Kratz's throw to second is offline, and Castillo gets a stolen base. Wow. Second stolen base of the year.
I don't know what Eric did that time. You know, he's a really good thrower normally, but he just didn't get anything on that. It
just slipped out of his hand.
Yeah,
almost.
like he aimed it. Well, let's see if they can see anything happens. They get him on a little bit of a cut fastball. He just makes a poor throw. You see Jimmy Rollins' reaction there because he knows there's no jump involved in that play. They get the strikeout. That should be strikeout double play.
Cody Ransom doubled back in the 5th and scored at the time was the go-ahead run for the Cubs. They took a 2-1 lead. Slider outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Phillies are 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Or excuse me, the Cubs are 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The Phillies 2 for 8.
They want to keep throwing him sliders if possible.
Now, after an easy first inning of relief in which he threw 10 pitches, he has 15 here in this inning. Trying to take this game to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 2, and give the Phils a chance to win it. Up high, and now 3-1. Not a bad pitch. That was awfully close. It was a slider that broke out of the strike zone. And now first and second with 1 out.
Well, that's a difference in the slider, which is, as you say, is a good one there. That is a chase type slider. But when you throw it, when you don't have the hitter behind in the count, the odds are they're not going to swing at it, and he didn't.
Charlie seems to be indecisive as to what he wants to do. He and Rich Doobie, are chatting about whether they want to go get Garcia. Now they're probably stalling a little bit to make sure DeFreitas is ready. It's DeFreitas and Diekman throwing in the pen. Both pitched last night.
Well, they're loaded left-handed too. Off the bench, they have Rizzo, they have Scherholz still.
That's the problem if you bring in DeFreitas.
Right.
They could bring in Scherholz to bat for Gillespie. He could easily play right field.
Exactly.
Every time the Phillies retire the opposition 1, 2, 3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. Gillespie takes low, 1-0. X-rays are negative, by the way, on Deanna Navarro. They are still evaluating him. That's a great sign.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
Two and 0.
Yeah, they just. Rich Doobie's going to come out and talk to him now. We're talking about the reason they don't bring the other guy in, the Freitas, because then they're going to go to one of those left-handers. So they were hoping that he could get straightened out a little bit here with Gillespie, but it's not happening.
A lot of times pitching coaches won't come out in the middle of a count, but this was needed because there must be something that he can see that he can help him fix in the middle of this at bat, you would hope.
Yeah, and just explain how very important it is that he's in here right now in this spot to keep this right-handed hitter at the plate. That's a beautiful shot.
It sure is. Two and 0 the count to Gillespie. Outside, ball 3. They throw behind the runner, out at first base. Cody Ransom is tagged out by Darren Rupp. He's saying he got back.
That may be why Rich Doobie went out there. They may go out and put on a play. Just to make sure everybody was on the same page. Seeing him with a big lead off first base like that. Be interested to see later on if they did that. Because this is a timing play. They were set to do this. First baseman's coming in really quickly there, rough, and catcher's ready to throw right away. He's out.
Yeah, he is. He was saying he was safe the whole time, but he was out. Good call by Marty Foster, who was kind of screened too. 3-0 the count to Gillespie. There's a strike, 3-1.
Here it is again. Great job by Ruff. Really, can't. That other angle that we had was really good. You could see he's saying he tagged the top of his head, but he looked like he tagged his arm before he got there. He may have felt him tag the top of his head later.
Ball 4. So again, runners on first and second. 3 walks in the inning for Garcia. And here comes Donnie Murphy, and Charlie Manuel's going to come out.
Well, yeah, he's going to have to come out and get him now. They're going to probably hit for Murphy.
Well, they're going to bring in the right-hander. Rizzo was already out to pinch hit, but for the next hitter, let's see what they do. They could always leave Ransom in to play third and Rizzo to play first if they make a switch. We'll find out. Justin DeFreitas is the pitcher coming on for the Phillies with 2 runners on here in the top of the 9th. Diamondbacks. It's 1990s Retro Night here at the ballpark. It's sponsored by Total, and the John Kruk action figurine will be given out to fans 14 and under. A retro print free to fans 15 and over will also be given out. There is the action figurine. Thanks to the folks at Total. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com.
That was a great wave on. There he is.
Got the scruff going and everything.
The guy that Darren Dalton nicknamed Jake. That's what he called him all the time.
It was good to see John Kruk this past weekend, along with the rest of the alums. By the way, Wheels, you were correct. So was David Bell. It was the Expos.
Well, it wasn't me. Because I said to him, I said, who did you do that against? And he went, it was the Expos. Huh. Okay, thanks. That was a long time ago if it was the Expos.
Cycle.
Huh?
Yep. Justin DeFreitas on for the 38th game, 2-3, a 4.23 ERA.
We blew Donnie Murphy away last night.
And it is still Murphy that's in the game. Yeah, his fastball last night was at 96 miles an hour, and that one there at 94. It's 1-0.
Well, they must figure in this situation that they don't have an infielder, so they can't hit for him. Because you think they would use Sherholtz here.
Or even Rizzo.
Or even Rizzo right now, yeah. Because we said last night the matchup was won by the Phillies here.
Up high, and it's 2-0.
It's a good job by Murphy tonight, not chasing that high fastball. There's the former Phil.
Fly ball down the right field line. Delman will give it a look. It's going to be out of play, and it's 2-1.
Murphy may win this battle yet, but he's beating him with fastballs. He just did it again. When you're 2-0 like that, normally you're not going to hit a foul ball that way because you're ahead in the count and it's in your favor as opposed to hitting one the other way.
Balls, 1 strike to Murphy.
He's trying to make him chase up there. They're just high out of his hand.
Well, now he's got to go to that got to count, that got to pitch.
Yeah, Charlie likes to call them the have to counts. Have to throw a strike, which means it's a hitter's count.
In the air to left field.
There you go.
That ball was hit a ton, and the Cubs will take the lead. It was up in the zone, and Donnie Murphy, a 3-run home run, has made this 5-2. It's his 3rd home run in these 2 games.
There you are. The have to count, have to throw a strike right down the middle with a fastball. And to his credit, he didn't hit that one the other way. He was right on it because he knew he was going to get it. Man, he crushes this thing.
He sure did.
Right down the middle, about belt high. No doubt about it. So all those walks in this inning kill you.
Well, that'll bring Anthony Rizzo to the plate here in the top of the 9th inning. It's 5-2 in favor of the Cubs. Rizzo, 18 home runs, 63 runs batted in. First pitch over for a strike, and it's 0-1. Donnie Murphy, who was not with the Cubs for a good part of this year.
3 home runs, as you said, in this series, 2 games.
His first one is kind of like that one. The one the opposite way came earlier in the game, just barely got out. It hit the top of the fence and shot out.
We saw him as an extra man with the Marlins.
He's played with a couple teams. Marlins from 2010 to 2012. Breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Out toward left field, Dominic Brown comes in to put it away. Side is retired, but the damage is done. 3-run score with one big swing. After a couple of walks, Donnie Murphy's 3-run home run, his second one of the night, gives the Cubs a 5-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the ninth. Includes 7 solid innings from Cole Hamels, and it's all part of Cure Auto Insurance. Presents Phillies post-game live. Phillies trail at 5-2, bottom of the ninth inning. Justin DeFreitas, who did so well last night, it's a hard game, so well last night, gave up the 3-run home run in relief tonight. Luis Garcia, who did so well in the 8th inning, had trouble with the strike zone in the 9th inning. And now Kevin Gregg, the closer for the Cubs, will come on to face Chase Utley, Michael Young, and then the pitcher's spot, probably Cody Ashe. As the Phils try to come from behind, trailing it by 3.
We have to give Donnie Murphy a lot of credit there, because he looked like he really relaxed. He knew he was in charge there. You have a 3-1 count with the bases loaded. There's nowhere to put him. And he knew he was going to get a strike. The 2-0 count, he was late. He fouled it off. The 3-1, right on it.
Well, now Kevin Gregg, who's kind of a different pitcher since the last time the Phillies saw him in the National League with the Marlins. He's added another pitch. He delivers a strike, and it's 0-1.
Boy, he was an adventure as a closer with the Marlins. You got that same look there with those goggles.
Down low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Fastball, curveball, cutter, split. It used to be fastball, split. And curveball, so maybe the cutter, huh?
He's another one of those guys they expected would be traded before the deadline. Outside, 2-1. He still could go before the end of August and help a team out that's in the race for a playoff spot.
Sure.
Utley hits it well to center field to Jesus. It's been an adventure for him there this series, and he makes the catch even though he got turned around a little bit.
He was really trying to get turned around again, but he didn't. He started a pirouette a little bit. There he goes. When he comes back the right direction, and there's the baseball. Right there is where he's in trouble, and he could have easily tripped himself, but he didn't. That's one of those ones where you think he's going to kick his foot out from under him when he does that, but he didn't. Thought he might be on his way to another face plant out there.
One out for for Michael Young, and it's 0-1. One out for Kevin Gregg in this inning. Cody Ashley is out on deck. Reminder that tomorrow the Phillies and the Cubs will wrap up this homestand. It's a 1 o'clock game. We'll be on Comcast Sportsnet with the first pitch. Inside, 2-2. Swing and a miss, and there are 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Third strikeout tonight for Michael Young. And here comes Cody Ashley, who will pinch hit against the right-hander. Cody will be in the lineup tomorrow for the Phils as a starter. Did not start tonight with the left-hander Travis Wood. Tomorrow it's Jeff Samardzija against Ethan Martin, who will be making his second major league start. Phillies then will head to Washington after the ball game for a 3-game series before they go to Atlanta Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. As she takes low. Popped him up. Shallow left center field. Castro, the shortstop, puts it away, and that's the ball game. Kevin Gregg closes out the 9th inning, and the Cubs have defeated the Phillies 5-2 thanks to a 3-run top of the 9th inning. Donnie Murphy hit 2 home runs in this ball game, a solo shot earlier against Cole Hamels, and then the 3-run shot in the top of the 9th inning to put this game away for the Cubs, and he is our Chevrolet player of the game. Well, the Phillies wasted a heck of a performance tonight by Cole Hamels, who went 7 innings tonight and allowed 2 runs. But Travis Wood was equally as good for the Chicago Cubs. And the Phillies bullpen just got a little wild at the top of the 9th inning, and it led to this, Wheels.
Yeah, our WB Mason delivery of the game, Tom, of course, in the 9th inning, have to throw a strike there, and he just ran a fastball right down the middle, in the middle of the plate, and about belt high. And Donnie Murphy hits the 2nd home run of the ball game, a big 3-run blast. And that is our WB Mason delivery of the game.
So the Cubs have evened up this series. The finale is tomorrow at 1:05. The Phillies lose it tonight 5-2. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.